And good morning. No, you're not with Brian Haldane this morning. You're with Betsy Barnes this morning. And I'm here with Lisa McKenzie, founder of Unite Empowerment Events for women who are thriving after cancer. Good morning, darling.
Good morning, darling.
You say darling, I say darling.
I honestly, Betsy, I think you say darling both ways. I mean, you say darling and darling, but it's darling. There's an
That's right. As my grandmother used to say, good morning, darling.
It's good to see you, Betsy.
It's great to see you early in the morning.
Yes.
I tell you what, one thing I noticed, there's no traffic. There's no traffic jam on the extra mile, and there's no traffic jam at 5:30 in the morning.
Why would anybody be out at this time of the morning?
I know. But it's a good thing though that we are up and working. We got a lot of things going on. We got a lot of people that we want to share. Just to give you a little warning, okay? You ready? We're doing a studio takeover.
Yeah.
What do two brunettes and six blondes have in common?
I'm thinking a lot of fun, a lot of information, a lot of power and excitement.
That's right. We are doing a studio takeover this morning of Talk 107.3 FM. We have six blondes, two brunettes, and we are going to have a great 3 hours today. We are going to cheer on our LSU Tigers. We're going to see what's going on with capital improvements. We're going to talk with AIA President Tia Willis, and also, and she's with AIA Baton Rouge, but she's also president of AIA, which is the American Institute of Architects, talking about some of the recent awards. She's going to be joined with Amanda Meir, who is the chairperson extraordinaire for the entire event that happened May 1st. There are some incredibly talented people in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that do work all over the world, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about building that truly that opportunity for young women and anyone to become an interior designer, an architect, and what they build and what they design. And I'm always so fascinated and impressed by this. It's iconic and it lasts much longer than we do. And so, being an architect and engineer's daughter, I have such a great appreciation for the longevity and the legacy of those generational type experiences of those people and places. So, we're also going to be talking with Jean Trum. She's with CSSI Services. She is a tax consultant for real estate and business owners, and has got some great information to share with us. And then we're also going to talk in the 8 o'clock hour with Christy Hike, the founder and president of Louisiana Republican Assembly. She's also an elected Republican State Central Committee member and East Baton Rouge Parish Executive Committee member. She spent a lot of time at the legislature this past session. And also, Katie Norwood Alexander is going to join us in that same hour. She's the co-founder of LACAG, which is the Louisiana Citizens Advocacy Group. Do you think that there's a lot of people that represent citizens at the Capitol?
I don't know.
Well, some are elected, a lot are elected, but there's a lot of special interests, and there's a lot of money to be made and spent at the legislature. Well, these two ladies represent the citizens. They represent citizens' rights. They are concerned about voter integrity with our election system. They're also concerned about property and entrepreneur rights. There was actually a bill in the legislature, we'll talk more about this in the 8 o'clock hour, where a private company, let's say XYZ Drilling, decides that they want to come onto your private property that you paid for, that you own, your home property, any other property, and they can drill and put carbon capture down into the soil of your property with no permission or money given to you. Now, that to me is an infringement on property rights, but maybe I don't understand it all. But they're going to explain it to us.
So they're the people to call if you are just pissed or you don't know
Yeah.
who to call or something's happening.
If you're a citizen and you're concerned that your rights are being ignored by either your elected officials, special interest groups, or anybody else down at the Capitol, they are there to make sure that your voice is represented. And then they understand all the things around it. So that's going to be in the 8 o'clock hour. That's a little bit later. And then we're also going to have Megan Ryburn. She's the Director of External Affairs for Louisiana Travel Association. And she's been also at the legislature. But, tourism, we're almost at the pre-COVID numbers. I have a special love for tourism. I invested a little time there. So I really do feel that we need to know kind of what the wins and losses were. I think we had more wins than losses promoting tourism and laws that protect people going to festivals. So Megan's going to explain to us a little bit about that. So that is our takeover. We have 8 women, including myself and Lisa McKenzie, who are taking over the Talk 1073 FM studio. So if you have a woman that you think highly of, we want to know about that. So you can go to the Facebook page for Talk 1073 FM. You can make suggestions of who you think needs to be a guest on a future show. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you do, a little bit about what I do, but we're going to also talk about some of the things that you've done to improve the lives of women who have been diagnosed with and are experiencing treatment of cancer. And I have been so blessed and honored to be a part of that organization of women. So let's see. And I almost failed to say John LaBeouf is producing this morning.
I am. Hello.
He is. He's going to make
Good
us
to
look
have you
good.
here.
So he is the only guy that's going to be in a studio for the next 3 hours with 8 women.
Okay.
He's okay with it.
As a father of 3 girls, I mean, I'm used to it. Bring it on. Let's go. It's going to be a good show.
It's going to be fun.
Lucky.
That's right. We're going to have a little music, a little rock and roll, a little songs from back in the day. We're just going to have fun. So, Lisa, you started Unite about 12 years ago, which was about the same time I started in radio, for my 19th career, to do something that I really always wanted to do, and I did, and Talk 1073 FM gave me that chance, and I started with Brian and Kevin Gallagher.
This is your home?
In the morning. This is my home. This is my
so
Radio
neat.
Soul's home.
Love it.
And I just absolutely love everybody with Talk 1073 FM, and Flynn Foster, Gordy Rush, love those guys. They've been good to me. Andy K. Solar during the 8.5 years we did Rock It Right. So you're also a podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a couple of podcasts. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about more specifically those podcasts. But you started this group for women. Why?
I had a couple friends who were diagnosed with cancer, and I think a lot of us can relate when you are on the sidelines watching somebody who's suffering and whose life's changed. You just figure out, you want to know how you can help. I fortunately have not had to battle cancer. My mom has, and I just, I said, what can I do to help women who have lost their sense of self and
Maybe their confidence.
Everything.
They've been their foundation has been shaken.
Yeah, and so it's really exciting. You bring women who are really at their lowest point together and watch them rise. It's amazing, and so that's what I do.
Well, that's just one of the things that you do. So, I think that really a lot of people get inspired by that. When we met in 2022, it was the 15th anniversary of my mom's passing from cancer. And so I got to walk the runway, and I got to dance with you and celebrate the Guinness Book of World Records, record-breaking most models in a fashion show. We're going to be right back with Talk 1073 FM. We're going to take a little moment, and we'll be right back. Hang with us. Call a friend. So we good so far? Okay.
Would you mind looking at my connection here? I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
How long is our break? 4 minutes? 5 minutes?
This one's a little bit shorter. This one might be, I think it's like 2 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
So people can see us right now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh no. Does that ever happen?
It's just a little hookup.
This is the woman takeover. This is what happens when the women take over. You know what? That's a sign. We need to come in and
I
remodel.
think if you just lift it and put it back on those screws,
no,
it should
can
be
I
good.
help somehow? Oh, God.
Oh, you know what? Maybe the screws came out of the wall.
Do you need a box or something?
What about this trash can turned upside down underneath there? The little computer might be able to be moved a little bit. We might as well just sit it on the trash can now because I don't think it's going to stay in. I would just sit it on the trash can. You know what I mean? Like wedge it where you can see it, because you need to be able to see it, right? I see another can there. You want to stack these? It's slipping just a little bit. I can see it compressing. I just want to let you know. How about early in the morning?
I'm so sorry.
So you got to get up early in the morning. So we are up early this morning. I got up about 4:30. What time did you get up?
I never went to sleep. I never went to sleep.
You never did. Well, because we were excited because we knew it was going to be a takeover of the Talk 1073 FM studio for leading ladies, women you need to watch. And you're a woman that needs to be watched. Not babysat or anything, just watch it.
I watched it.
So I jotted down a couple of different things that you do. You are a nationally renowned motivational speaker. You're a cancer program creator, a very motivational person. You are the founder of Unite Empowerment Events for Women Surviving and Thriving in Cancer. That is Lisa McKenzie. I'm talking about Lisa McKenzie from the North Shore, baby. Um, you also found the We Lift You Up Fund, a 501c for many of these programs. You created a nationally and internationally award-winning set of programs that are really healing arts programs. So you're the creator of SCART, Story Crafting. You're a podcaster for Still She Rises. And we started a new podcast together that'll be out soon. Yes.
Thanks for having me, Betsy.
Well, I love having you.
As you mentioned earlier, we met because I attempted and actually
Achieved.
accomplished
Yes, that's right.
beating the Guinness Book of World Records for the most models in a fashion show in
Ever.
2022. And you came representing the Lieutenant Governor's office to cut the ribbon to start the
Yes.
ceremony. And we had most of them were cancer survivors on that stage.
18 different types of cancer
Yep.
represented.
Yeah.
And that was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal event. I was really blown away, and it happened to be the anniversary of my mom's passing from lung cancer. So I wore white. So everybody wears different colors of
To
cancer.
represent the ribbon color of that cancer.
That's exactly right. And that was a great, great night.
Yes.
I definitely want you to stay with me after the break.
Okay.
We've got about 30 seconds to the break, but I wanted to tell you, say the date of what's coming up for the runway show and gala. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. This is the time to champion women who have survived and are thriving after cancer with a sisterhood.
Yes. So our theme this year is Fight Club. So think of Rocky. Come on down to the Jefferson Performing Arts Center where you're going to see over 60 women who are just living life to the fullest after having such a traumatic, life-changing event.
Well, we're going to be right back with Talk 107.3 FM. It's not Brian Haldane, it's Betsy Barnes and Lisa McKenzie in the studio. We'll be right back. We can fill up some time with talking.
Oh yeah, the 6 o'clock hour is so there's so many hard breaks in the 6 o'clock hour.
Yes.
Yeah, so I apologize about that. It's like,
No.
oh, we're on. Oh, we're out again. It's like,
That's okay. We're good.
yeah, it's all right. These hard breaks. After this, we should be back at about 6:23.
Okay. And then how long is that next segment?
Till 6:30.
Okay. Okay. So that gives us about 10 minutes.
Of talk.
No, that gives us 7 minutes. Yeah. 7 and a
I'm
half.
looking at my connection again.
Yeah.
So let's do a rundown of the programs when we come back.
Of what I do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So is the sound still on? We're still live? Or the sound's not on?
It is. You want me to turn it off?
No, you can leave it on. What we're going to talk about, we're going to give y'all a little bit of preview of what we're going to talk about. We hope that you're watching on Facebook Live. Good morning.
Good morning.
We hope that it's a wonderful day for you. It is a fabulous Tuesday. Tiger's still in Omaha. Yes. So I think we were at 5-3, rain delay, and that just means that our opponents just have to sweat it out a little bit longer. Let's play the head game with them. Let's hope they're fearful of facing the Tigers.
This is how out of touch I am with LSU stuff because my kids went to University of Alabama. I'm so sorry. I apologize to everybody about.
We're not going to hold it against you.
They got a
our old
scholarship.
coach went there too.
They got scholarships. Parents can understand that.
Yeah.
But what is 5-3? Does that mean LSU's ahead?
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Okay. Good.
I looked it up this morning because I couldn't stay up, that late to figure it out. And so we're going to check on our connections. So, I wonder if everybody agrees with me. I think they probably do. This is an easy thing to agree on. LSU will not lose the Jell-O shot contest.
What does that mean?
Really? The Jell-O shot contest is the team that's in the finals that drinks and buys the most Jell-O shots. And so LSU baseball pitcher, MLB pitcher, Paul Scaines, and his girlfriend Olivia Dunn are in Omaha. There's no way anybody's going to buy more or could afford more Jell-O shots than the two of them.
Thank you. So they buy.
Everybody buys Jell-O shots at this one particular bar, and they keep a tally.
See, I guess I'm just working too hard. I don't know this stuff.
Yeah, what's wrong with you working that hard?
I know.
But I'm watching the game today. Okay, so it starts at 10 a.m.
Oh.
We have a little business
Good.
to do, but it's 10 a.m.
Okay.
and it's going to be continuing. So whenever our show is over, get that TV on, get that ESPN on.
I wonder what the
Cheer
weather.
on the Tigers. Pretend you're working.
Yeah, I wonder what the weather forecast is because when I looked yesterday,
Yeah.
100% chance of rain. That's crazy.
You can do. What was the other one? Early in the morning, and what was the other one? How about haters?
I don't even know what these songs are. What is wrong with me?
Little swamp pop. I do too. I do too.
Can you tell I'm originally from California? I'm like, what? What is all this stuff? Love it. Okay, I'm going to share this link.
I love this. I love this. So I love this song by Eric Frank, the swamp pop song. It's called Haters. And I think what I love is the beat of it, of course, but I love raise one hand up if you got haters. Raise both hands up if you know that you are greater.
Mm.
So, so a lot of times, you're in the midst of writing a book about sometimes the ugliness of nonprofits.
Oh,
So
yes.
sometimes nonprofits are very competing, and they can be a little bit difficult. But on the positive side, raising both hands up because you know that you're greater, not you, but the trying to help people that need help in the gap between what they can afford and what they are provided for through insurance or other programs, but But a lot of times when women or anyone goes through cancer, we're talking about Unite. If you're just joining us with the founder, Lisa McKenzie of Unite Empowerment Events for Women, I wanted Lisa to come on because there's been such a high demand for the type of Unite programs to come to the Baton Rouge area. Mary Bird Perkins is a great sponsor of yours, and along with all the major hospitals that are in the New Orleans and North Shore area, plastic surgeons and all. But there's a gap emotionally sometimes where women need to have other women to support them. So share a little bit about what you created with Unite, what is offered. And so when you're listening and you know somebody who's going through cancer, you can think, maybe I need to connect them.
Yeah. Well,
And it's all free to the women who are going through cancer.
Yeah. We partner with physicians, and, just imagine you go into a doctor's appointment and they are there to treat your physical. And you are surrounded by this amazing care team that gets you set up. But then at some point, there's all these other things that happen. Like, I'm dealing with a woman who, the minute she found out she had cancer, her husband said, peace out. She got young children. Now she's on her own. She's got financial needs while battling cancer. Her whole life has changed.
Yeah.
And emotionally, she's just a mess. So we bring people together, women, and over 700 locally, thousands across the country, to help them find support and then realize they are so strong. I mean, they come in so scared and so sad and not having, like a direction of where to head anymore, or just knowing.
When you also feel under attack.
Yeah.
Being a thyroid cancer survivor, and I don't think of myself as a survivor. I feel like, and I've said this to you before, it feels like just sort of something that happened kind of like poison ivy. It's like once it was gone, it's gone. I'm 5 years cancer free. I think that at the time during COVID, this all happened at COVID. So I knew that there wouldn't be the ability to have support other than people calling me on the phone and my good friends and close friends. And I wish we would have known each other then, because it would have been so great to connect with people on the phone. But I really felt like I had good support. But there's a lot of people that COVID or no COVID, they don't feel that. And they don't want to burden their children, adult or younger children, or their husband or their family, and be crying all the time or be upset as they figure out how to navigate this. And you connect them with other women who've had that special type of cancer they have, not the general cancer, whatever that is, but the specific type of cell or type of cancer. That is so important for people to feel seen, heard, and valued.
Yeah, some of them are battling really rare cancers. Some are stage 0, some are stage 4, like very sick women. But when they get together and then they start sharing their power together, and even the ones who are the sickest and are sitting there saying, you know what, but I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it. I mean, because we encourage each other, we find out where everybody's at in their journey and how we can support them.
You take women that are complete strangers, bring them all together for like a candle pass ceremony. They get to know each other, they bond, and they go through the different phases of your program.
Yes.
And then I'm telling you, that's a strong bond.
Yes, and all the therapies that we offer start with the inner healing first. Like, how did it affect you? How do you see yourself physically? That's why we do the SCAR art program, the SCAR painting program. They get to evaluate now that their body's been changed, chopped up, cut, bruised, beaten, stitched.
So it's just a lot to go through healing.
But just then to also sort of admire that your body has worked very hard for you to heal. And so you look at it through art, this program that we do. We do story crafting, where ladies create narrative therapy experiences to unravel the mess in their mind and create a new story that despite what they've been through, they can turn it around and say, look what I've learned. Look at the silver linings. And oh gosh, like last night I was on a call with 40 ladies, and one lady says, I mean, she is so sick. She has the rarest cancer. She is only 20 people in 70 years in this one hospital have ever been treated for this type of cancer.
And these are women all across the country that you're connecting through different organizations. This is the Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Yeah, they're my partner up in Rhode Island. They're great. But she's sharing that, the doctors have basically said, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. And so where do you go at that point, And yet here she is sharing her experience. She found this huge tumor in the back of her throat by shining a flashlight. And she's got, they're just saying there's nothing else they can do for her. But she's sitting there saying, you know what, but I'm doing okay. And this program is really helping me to see, the value I still have and the life I still have to live. And it's just amazing. I get to work with the strongest, most beautiful women. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to be here too, just talking about these other women that are going to be on your program, just how people are all making a difference in this world. I'm happy to be playing a small part. You know, cancer is so prevalent in our society. Way too many diagnoses, way too many rare cancers starting to pop up, and younger women and men, but younger women getting diagnosed. And so, you know, that's what I do. I wake up every day saying, how can I help?
Well, Lisa McKenzie, founder of Unite, creator of SCART and story crafting. We're going to be talking a little bit more throughout the show, but we'll be right back. This is Talk 1073 FM for the women you need to watch take over. So I think we need to, let's see what Christy's saying. Why do I feel like I'm missing someone on this list? I said 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. What would be another good song? What was the song? What was the songs I sent those to you? What was the song?
Well, mine are a little bit more solemn, but it's Rise Up by Andra Day. That kind of, you know, goes with what I do, I guess. And then Scars to Your Beautiful is another pretty one.
Which one do you want him to play at this next opening?
Rise Up. Yeah, because I want to talk about the Still I Rise podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
I was just posting here.
And how many minutes will we have on this next segment? Okay, and then when's the next one? Okay. Okay, so we have like 14 minutes in one long segment. Good. Okay, because when we come back, I want to mention our other guests so people stay tuned.
I thought I just posted this. Oops. Okay. Just posting it on Facebook, the live feed.
Good.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I'm glad you were there when we talked to Peyton.
Oh, he's so sweet.
He really is.
Such a good kid. You guys are so cute together. I love this age. I've loved all my ages of the kids, but I love this age because you just to see like, you know, kind of our
Everything you
work
poured
as
in.
parents and
Yes.
then just their individual gifts and personalities coming out and, you know, them entering the world. It's cute. I just love them. I love, and your son is amazing. Doke. See if I can.
Did you tag me in that when you shared it?
Okay, no, I need to. I didn't tag. I just like it. Like, let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
See, for whatever reason, my Facebook will not connect to my computer, and I don't, and I'm not even on
Oh, really?
the thing.
Let's see.
Okay, let me try this connection again.
Slide.
You said 225 or Red Stick 225.
There you go. These lights are so bright. I look like I'm like glowing in the
We are glowing.
glowing. You know, how many people go to these coffee places and buy their coffee and then it spills all over their shirt the minute.
I don't like when they fill it up to the top.
Yeah,
I like a gap.
Why do they drip like this?
Yeah, and I don't taste any hazelnut.
You're right. I don't think they put any in there.
No.
But
so I'm really excited to introduce you to some of my other friends. So we got till 6:37. Okay. The weather is a beautiful day for LSU to win in Omaha.
Is it? What's the weather?
Well, it doesn't matter. Whatever the weather is, I'm just thinking it's good weather for us to win.
I just wonder if they're going to have a rain out again because
and we're playing Murray State. Is that right? Murray State?
Yeah. What do you mean Murray State? I thought they were playing UCLA.
They are playing UCLA. If we win, who do we play? Or when we win?
I thought it was UCLA, but I mean, who am I to know of this information? I don't know. Wait,
I guess it depends on who loses on the other game. Yeah.
So this is not the championship.
No, they have one more game after this, I think.
Look at me knowing something about LSU. Thank you very much. You got your Tiger stuff on?
Exactly. I wore my Tiger stuff just to be lucky.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, this so far so good. Brought us some luck. I think I wore this to the Alabama LSU game when we won in the last 4 seconds.
Wait, are you talking about the last one where we were in Tiger Stadium? Because I went to that game wearing red, the Tiger Crimson color, and with, Alabama. With a friend who was there representing LSU. She went to LSU, and I was booed at. I had popcorn thrown at me.
They're not good. We don't like our opponents.
I was terrified, to tell you the truth. And then she was like, let's leave because we were Alabama was winning.
Eat everybody else's food.
Well, she was like, Alabama was winning. She goes, come on, let's be the first to leave so we don't get caught in traffic. We're walking out, and we look up at the monitors, and LSU scores, and everybody rushed the field, and I'm like, I cannot believe we just walked out, and we missed that moment.
I love that song.
Yeah. This is.
Are you still doing the weather? Or it's already done.
This is coming back in from the weather.
Okay.
Oh, you had it pre-recorded or something?
What's that?
You had it pre.
Yeah, it plays. Yeah. All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
Let's roll.
And welcome back to Talk 107.3 FM. We are in the studio doing a Women to Watch takeover of Brian Haldane's studio. Now, we didn't really ask Brian's permission, but I'm sure it's okay. So we're in here with producer John LaBeouf. We are having a mighty fine time with Lisa McKenzie, founder of Unite, founder of SCART. You've won so many awards. You've spoken all over the country for groups that are trying to support people with cancer, all types of cancer. And let me just say, cancer seems like such a downer. It's a downer when you hear it. It's a downer when somebody you know is battling it. But there's a victory. There is a victory in all that you persevere through that. And so some of the things that I've experienced through you has been the amazing resilience and strength of women that they've reached down and pulled up their faith. They've pulled up their circle of friends and other people that they didn't even know that want to support them. So that's so wonderful to have such a spiritual connection. And that's one of the reasons that you started the Still She Rises podcast.
It's called the Still I Rise.
Still I Rise. Still I Rise.
That's why that lead-in song from Andrew Day, I Rise Up, is a really appropriate song to play right before we came on. The Still I Rise podcast I launched last year, and I really invite anybody to listen. What I love about it is that in our story crafting program, the ladies take a metaphor to assign that to their experience. So they might say, I feel like I'm in a lifeboat, tossed around in an angry sea. And then they kind of unravel that. And then at the end, they're like, but the whole time I found out I was supported and I was in safe harbor and I just had to look to the lighthouse. That's just kind of an example. Yes. But what's neat is that I get to interview these women. I do 50 interviews a year. that then we launch once a week. And they get to read their story. And it's sort of like chicken soup for the soul in a way, because every story is inspiring. Every story is unique. It's not all about, the story isn't, this is when I found out I had cancer and this is, how I got treated. It goes beyond that. It's that, and I also raised alpacas, or I jumped out of airplanes, or I have 13 grandchildren. It's like we try to remind women, yeah, but you're forgetting that part of your story. When we say, tell us your story, and they tell you their cancer story, you're like, wait, is that all it is now? You got cancer and that identifies you?
Yeah.
We try to remind
the
them.
cancer is not the identification. The cancer is something that occurs, but it doesn't define who we are. It definitely can define what we overcome.
Yes.
And I don't know anyone on this earth that has not been through something difficult or something traumatic. It's that's how we become strong. We don't have an easy road. Nobody does. But you figure out where your character is and how strong you are through the things that you go through.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Still I Rise podcast is really inspirational. And where can people listen to that?
So it's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you could go to my website. That's a really great way to find it. If you go to Unite Events, and Unite is spelled uniquely.
Uniquely.
Uniquely, it's YOUNIGHT events.com, and at the very top it says listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
And there's about
and you have people all over the world listening.
Yeah, I just saw
and you
the
have people
stats.
Subscribing all over the world.
I couldn't believe that I saw the stats I'm like, how are these people finding us? But well, why are they finding us? Because cancer is so universal,
right?
And I went to a men's group recently. A shout out to the Men of Steel in Slidell, and you get up and pitch your nonprofit for an award they give you. The men put $100 each in, and one nonprofit gets $10,000 that night.
Yeah.
And so I'm going against some amazing other nonprofits. There's no way that they're going to give us the award, and I asked the men, I said, I'm just going to say, how many of you have been impacted by cancer, either a family member or loved one? And I was I was hoping one or two of them raised their hands. There was 100 men in that room. And when I tell you 100 hands shot up in the air, and it's not a good thing for sure. I mean, I am really mad, when we talk about, right now with legislation and some things that are being done to help cancer survivors, whether it's insurance or testing or biomedical, just anything that helps us figure out what is the problem and allows people to do that affordably as a cancer patient. I'm all for that, because although I love working with these women, there's also kind of an anger inside of me about the fact that they have to go through that in the first place.
Or that there has to be so much discussion about what's going to be paid for in insurance programs. And yesterday, Congressman Troy Carter championed the early detection.
Multi-cancer early detection, which really will be a game changer. We are really calling upon our legislatures, Steve Scalise, Mike Johnson. I mean, we really are calling them to rally together to do this for cancer survivors, to just give them
insurance to cover the screening for 70 different cancers. Like, why isn't that covered already? But if we need our delegation to do it, let's all encourage them. So if you've been impacted by cancer, contact your congressman by the state of Louisiana through the state, and just make sure that they understand how important this is.
Yeah, I mean, if you find out that you're at risk for a certain type of cancer, you are already ahead of the game. And if something happens, then your doctors are more informed about exactly how to treat it. When I started, I thought cancer was one disease. I didn't realize how many, and each treatment's different. I mean, I've really become educated.
It becomes a comorbidity because it has so many different facets that the treatment affects your system. And I felt for 6 or 7 years that I did not have the same energy. My friends laugh. They're like, you have tons of energy. Yeah. But honestly, I didn't feel very energetic. And I went to an endocrinologist, and I was basically undiagnosed for 6 or 7 years. And it could have been longer than that. So by the time I found my cancer, it was stage 3. It moved into my lymph nodes. And so thank God, Dr. Shatha Murad at Baton Rouge Clinic said, do you want to do an ultrasound of your neck? And that was the last thing she offered as we were having this first meeting, because she had been so good to my sister-in-law and helped her with some different issues. And so I was like, well, heck, let's try it. And I even told her, appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, whatever you're offering, I'm going to take it. That turned into my diagnosis, or I would have gone perpetually with something that was affecting my metabolism, my energy. Your thyroid really is a major thing, and more women than you would believe have thyroid cancer, but it's something so simple as, can we do an ultrasound? Sure, because you're not thinking you're going to really find anything, but hey, I'll try it. This multi-cancer testing, pre-screening is so important. 70 kinds of cancer.
Yes, and that's in legislation right now. They've been battling
We
this
need Congress to pass that.
Yes, it would be just be such a win for cancer survivors. I mean, they need as many wins as
Well,
they can get.
it could actually make sure there's more cancer survivors.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And, like working with the great people at Mary Bird Perkins.
They are wonderful.
Yeah.
They sponsored my show for a long time. They were wonderful.
Yes. And
are wonderful.
And so just an example of screening, they have this high-risk breast cancer screening where you could go in and take a test, a written, like not a test, but it's a questionnaire to figure if you're at high risk. And what's the amazing part about that is that if they determine that, yes, you're at risk, then you can start getting some of these scans and, mammograms and things as early as 20 years or, before you had to
younger
wait.
women are getting cancer.
Yeah, and if you could catch these early, it's a game changer because the ones who, do have stage 3, stage 4, their life experience, their treatment, how it affects them is so much different than if you could catch it early.
Very early.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful. So walk us through, real quickly, just walk us through when somebody says, I want to be a part of the program, I want to sign up for the class of 2025, which has already begun. I want to sign up for class of 2026. They're not spending any money. All of your sponsors, you raise a good amount of money, but could use more so more women could come into the program. But you do 30 to 40. You could maybe do up to 50 women per class. Tell us when somebody starts after the candle pass and they meet the other people in the group, tell us what they go through next for the next 9 or 10 months.
Well, the value to each woman, if you added up what we pour into them, is about $10,000 a person because they get therapies that are our programs, and then they have professional headshots, makeovers. They do the podcast interviews, the video interviews. They get the professional runway training, the experience on stage. Now, that may seem kind of like a fluff event, like, oh, runway. What's amazing to me is that when you start the program and you know that 6 months from now I'm going to be on the runway and you think, no way, I don't have, hair, I don't have eyelashes, I don't feel good. But you get to say, you know what, but what do I want to feel like? What do I want to look like? So it's just something nice to be projecting into the future of where you want to be. But then when you actually get there and you're surrounded by now these new friends that you formed, it's this tight army bond of women, and you get on that
it's
stage.
Incredible.
Yeah, it really what I love is, one, it's for themselves, but then to look into the audience and see their doctors and their care team
and their husbands and partners,
their children,
and cheering for them. Like I literally have goosebumps right now from the top of my head all the way to my toes because I have had the honor of emceeing that event for the last 2 years. There's over 600 people at each one of these events. And I was so honored to be able to do that and that you asked me to do that. But I got to see how impactful this is to the families and to the doctors who have watched this patient go from the worst to the best, better.
Yeah.
And then also the pride and the just, there are some tears, but there's mostly joy in that I made it through. And everybody together, that is a huge room of energy.
Oh, it's so
like
much love.
I cannot help but dance. In between when they're doing the different things, I'm on the sidelines. I'm just waiting for the next time to go up there and I'm dancing because it's so much fun. So honestly, you really have not just the people that are involved as volunteers, but also the family members, this extended community. So Gallier Hall, you did the 10th anniversary, and I was fortunate enough to be the mistress of ceremonies for that with Michael Harris, New Orleans Mr. Entertainer. And that's
Marshall Harris.
Marshall Harris.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me.
Yes.
And Marshall did a beautiful job singing and everything. I've never seen Gallier Hall. I've been to Gallier Hall a bunch of times. That was the most beautiful from top to bottom it's ever been. And so after the runway show, we just have a big celebration. So they go through these phases. So they start off with the candle pass. They do story crafting, complete makeover, head to toe, redressing, re-looking at really how do they want to be perceived going forward? What is their image going forward, which might even be better than the image before. And they feel better about it because it's more choiceful. It's more intentional. And then they end it with the runway show and gala.
And then it doesn't end there, because then they are this really amazing, beautiful sisterhood. These friendships last forever. And
They come back as alumni.
They come back not only as alumni, but a lot of them come back as team leaders. They come back
Yes.
as mentors. They get trained by us to be the coaches, and we compensate. Some of these are paid positions that we give to them.
Well, we'll be right back on Talk 107.3 FM. This is the 8 Women You Need to Watch takeover of the Brian Haldane Show. Stick with us. And so we come back at what time? Okay. Okay, so this time when we come back, I am going to talk about everybody else that's coming in. So Tia and Amanda should be here pretty soon. Oh, Jean is here, so we need to go downstairs and let her in. John LaBeouf is coming downstairs to open the door for you. Go to the door on the right side of the building, not the front door.
This is her paperwork.
Yeah, Tia Willis and them. Looking forward to Tia Willis and Amanda. Good morning, exclamation point. John LaBeouf, our producer, can let you in as soon as he arrives. John LaBeouf, our producer, can let you in as soon as you arrive. Comma, just text and let me know when you get here. So we may switch and do Jean and then do Tia and Amanda.
Do you see this? She's one of those. 6 LSU engineering graduates achieved Distinguished Communicator honor. I don't want to be you. It's way too much pressure.
Got your exercise this morning.
I have a logistics, my right-hand woman, Angela, and she's the person who runs around and makes everything look good while people like you are.
It's so different when I break out the camera and take pictures. Y'all two oh hey, let me pose.
And you're just like,
Guys are not the same.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So if you didn't get a good picture, we'll pose if you want to
No,
pose.
it was great. I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. Usually I'm like, I'll take a picture of the guest and I look at my phone. I'm like, come on, guys. Guys are just not the same.
Because we're in the middle talking, but we're also like,
Right, yeah.
nothing slows us down. We don't miss a good photo.
Just smile or something. Like when guys do it, it's like they'll be talking, smiling. You break out a camera, it's like serious faces, and it's like
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like some girls do duck lips.
yeah.
I don't understand that. I've never understood why is that attractive. I've just never understood it. But.
Right.
Okay, we ready to come back?
Whew.
Oh, did you see Jean down there?
Oh yeah, I'll let her in.
Or
Okay.
Tia?
Yep,
Is she
she's
coming
using
up?
the restroom.
Okay.
Who's here, Tia or John?
So Jean Trum is here, and we're going to talk to her in just a minute. So are we ready to go?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. When my mic's on, I just hear it in my in ears.
Okay.
It's still the ads are still playing.
Okay.
But
And we
yeah,
come in at
came back.
57?
Yeah, we had about I think 20 seconds of dead air, so we're a little bit behind.
Okay.
So I was whew. Okay. But yeah, we should be coming back in about another minute or so.
Okay, but just let me know when.
Any specific song on this one?
What's the other one? What's the other song you had? Scars Are Beautiful?
Oh, Scars to Your Beautiful.
Oh
is
yeah,
the
it's
song.
one of my daughter's favorites.
Aw.
So, is the sound and camera still on? Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we
So
want
even though this, I'm
Yeah.
watching from the.
So we are really excited because we have Jean Trum with CSSI Services. We're going to be talking about some of the cost segregation programs that they offer. Tia Willis, president of AIA Baton Rouge, is going to be joining us along with Amanda Meir. She was the chairwoman extraordinaire for the Rose Awards, the AIA Baton Rouge Rose Awards for Excellence in Design. And we have got some very talented architects and designers in our area. And so we're going to talk with them a little bit about AIA Baton Rouge, and we're going to talk about different ways that different types of buildings can get different cost and tax savings. And we're going to talk about a little bit about another new product to help move walls. It's called green tape, and CSSI Services has the exclusive on that. It's actually IRS certified, IRS deductible. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then in the next hour after that, we're going to talk with Christy Hike, founder and president of Louisiana Republican Assembly, and Katie Norwood Alexander with LaCag, and Megan Ryburn with Louisiana Travel Association. So we got a good show. So we're just waiting for our producer, John LaBeouf, to bring us back in, and you'll hear me say it again. Mm-hmm. And good morning, darling.
Good morning, darling.
Yes, it is a good morning. It's a wonderful morning because LSU is going to be playing at about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it
Go
looks like,
Tigers.
yeah, that's right. So I just say, beat the hell out of UCLA,
Yes,
right?
of course.
So, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But we need a little win. I think our guys are fresh. Hopefully the rain has stopped, and we're going to beat UCLA.
It'd be fun to be in Omaha right now, not with the
That's
rain,
right.
but just cheering them on.
Yeah. Well, in LA they have riots, and here we have parades. That's the difference. So what do you say culturally to that? I say, bring on the parade. We celebrate the good things. We're not gonna, act up in front of our traveling tourists. So
Yes.
let's hope that everything is safe for all of our LSU Tigers in Omaha, and that the protesters just stay over there on the left coast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know you're from California. I don't mean to offend you, but anyway.
Well, I haven't been there for 22 years.
Yeah, you're
and
pretty much a Louisianian.
I left for a reason. I mean, California's got some great parts to it, but unfortunately, driving a lot of people out of that state for some of the craziness going on there,
Yeah.
from the cost of living to just the political landscape, it is insane. I am so glad to be gone.
We're not gonna. Oh, Jean Trum is here. We're gonna be interviewing Jean in just a few minutes. So I wanted to give you a little rundown of the show. If you're just starting to join us, this is the Women You Need to Watch Leading Ladies Studio Takeover of the Brian Haldane Show. Brian didn't really ask, I didn't really ask for permission, so I'm just going to ask for forgiveness. We're taking over. And John LaBeouf, father of 3 daughters, is good with it.
Yeah, and did we have to tell Brian that we came in and he's going to have to do some remodeling now?
We had a little screen issue. Those bolts, you know what it is? We brought so much energy that the bolts
We
shook
knocked the
right out of the
monitor
wall
out of
for
the
the
wall.
monitor. We didn't even touch it. It just happened.
Right.
So we are excited to be here. We're excited to be hosting. And we're also excited to introduce you to our next guests that are coming up in the next hour and the hour after that. Tia Willis is the 2025 president of AIA Baton Rouge. What a fantastic organization. I'm blessed to be a member of it, and I enjoy it very much. And she is also the architect and project manager for LSU Ag Center Office of Facilities Planning. And with her is going to be Amanda Meir. She was the chairwoman extraordinaire to put on the Rose Awards for Excellence in Design for AIA Baton Rouge. In her full-time job, when she's not putting on fabulous events for AIA, she is the LSU Director of Capital Renewal and Planning, Design, and Construction. I love strong women with big titles. That's what I like. I really do. And then we've got another one in the 7 o'clock hour, Jean Trum with CSSI Services. She's a tax consultant for real estate and business owners. She also can hook you up with some recyclable green tape, and I cannot wait for you to hear more about that. There's different ways that you can look at your construction of a new building or an old building that needs renovation. She's going to talk to us about that. Then the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk about what happened at the legislature regarding the rights of citizens. So Christy Castile Hike is the founder and president and president of Louisiana Republican Assembly. She's an elected Republican State Central Committee member with the LAGOP and also elected to East Baton Rouge Parish Executive Committee, and Katie Alexander, co-founder of LaCag. And after them, Megan Ryburn. So hang with us. We're going to be right back after the top of the hour break. You're on Talk 107.3 FM. We're taking over.
She's so good.
It's the only thing I do is talk. I want to introduce y'all, Sean Trum. This is Lisa McKenzie with Unite. This is my sweet friend, Sean.
I know nothing about what you do, so I'm like, what am I? I don't know anything about tax.
It's a very
rules.
niche part of the tax code that we work in.
Yeah. Are you the owner of the company?
I wish I was.
Oh,
She has her own company.
I've been with them for 15 years. I'm contracted with them.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been with them for a while.
wow. You're one of the brainiacs.
She's a brainiac.
I call the brainiacs my special people. They work in the back.
Oh, we need to let Amanda in.
You want me to go let her in? Would that be helpful?
That would be helpful.
Plug.
We're going to have 4 people in here. Yes, it is a takeover. And my computer's doing me really no good, so.
I know mine just did a whole restart. I'm glad I wasn't using it for anything but just. Oh, thanks.
So we are doing a takeover. We're going to have 4 ladies in here in just a minute. Well, actually 5. Okay, there they are right there.
Okay, so these are all going to be.
All right.
She's so good. I love Josh Stone. I love good music. Can you tell? Because I'm dancing. What is our next? How about we build the city for the next segment?
So Betsy, we are, on a live feed on Facebook on my Unite page, as well as on, I think, my personal Unite page. I mean, Lisa McKenzie
Awesome.
Facebook. So if you want, do shout out, put some comments in. Let us know if you're awake, if you're
Yeah,
drinking
if you're
coffee.
watching. Hey, Amanda. How you doing?
So with the next break, we're actually coming into the 8 o'clock hour, so we do like the 7 o'clock opener,
Okay.
and then the break after that.
Come on in. How are you? Good. I was on the air and I didn't get the fact that y'all on the air. Do y'all know each other? Do y'all miss that? So I started the 6 o'clock hour. What do 6 blondes and 2 brunettes have in common? The takeover of Talk 107.3 FM studio. We're doing a takeover. We're taking over. Yeah, Corey Rush loved it. So. It has to be done. It has to be done. Come meet Lisa.
Hi.
This is John LaBeouf, our producer. This is Lisa McKenzie. This is Amanda Meir.
Glad to meet you. You look so put together this early.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Well, there's a work day after this.
Exactly.
So I was going to have you and Tia. I can share a microphone with Lisa. I'm going to have you and Tia. Yes, you and Tia right
That one
here.
doesn't work.
This chair does not stay
That one
up.
works. He
unless
said that
you're-
works.
It does work. This chair does not stay up. It just keeps sinking.
Okay.
So I'm going to stand. I'm going to give one of you a chair. It'd be great if we had one other chair that worked.
Maybe swap them out.
Mhm.
Great.
Were you listening at all yet? Did it sound okay?
Sounded like Kooks on. Kooks on coffee.
Not at all.
Chicks on coffee. Oh, would you want to run one more time? We need to let in Tia Willis.
She's down there.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the list of the award winners?
I made notes and I have, if I need to kind of paraphrase
we're going to have about 30 minutes with breaks. There'll be breaks, but I want to talk about, obviously AIA Baton Rouge, but the Rose Awards, just real conversational, just kind of like how we were talking kind of off the cuff. But then, those people that won, I mean, phenomenal. Like Holly and Smith, like really rocked it. And I actually love Chris Remsen. I love him. So I knew him when I worked for Jacob Pecori with the Bass Pro Development. And so he came to a press conference I put on in 2012, which is so funny. That's where I knew Jean since then, since 2012.
Do you want to sit on like some phone books or something? There's some books if you want to.
No, I'm going to stand and I'm going to let them sit. As a matter of fact, can we raise this seat maybe? Or I hate for them to not be on camera. We're rearranging and taking over the studio. We're redecorating in about 15 minutes. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you made it.
Yeah,
Good
this one
morning.
doesn't adjust.
Are there other stools in the building or anything?
That makes me happy. I want to introduce you to John LaBeouf. He's our producer.
Hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you, John.
This is Tia Willis, and this
Hello,
is Lisa
glad to
McKenzie.
meet
Tia
you.
Willis.
We should all get on camera and wave as they take a
Well, actually, we need to get on camera because
take a
we're
picture.
we do need to take a picture. So we're gonna have y'all come first. We'll do like the first 30 minutes, and then Jean. But we do need to take a picture with everybody, in the takeover.
Have you been on for the full hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made her spend the night with me and get up at 5 o'clock.
Taking notes.
I didn't sleep at all. Like
She didn't
1
sleep,
minute.
and I've been up since
Not
4:30 because I was so afraid I would oversleep, and then I'd be late.
Are you kidding me?
I couldn't believe it. I tossed and turned the whole night. I was so mad. So all I kept thinking is like, well, I guess I'll just treat this like the way you would when you wake up for an early flight and you didn't sleep all night. I've done it before.
She's like, it was fine. I was
Oh,
like,
look, this may be.
I hope so.
Yay. Perfect.
Awesome.
Yes.
I might be the only one of them. That and your granddaughter. That might be the only
She starts out, like I have kind of a ramp up of energy, and she was like out of the gate, like, good morning.
It takes me a few minutes to wake up. It really does. So I got up a little bit early just to, help me. Okay, I'm going to have y'all come right over here. You want to come over here, John, and we'll ask John to take a picture of us?
So we're coming into the
Right
7
now?
o'clock, yeah.
Okay. How many minutes?
Right now.
How many minutes is this thing? Hey, good morning. Good morning. It is the Talk 107.3 FM takeover. So, as I asked earlier, Lisa, what do 6 blondes and 2 brunettes have in common?
The takeover.
The takeover, absolutely. So, Brian Haldane, I hope you're enjoying your day off because we are. We're enjoying your day off very much.
Yes, when you come back, everything's going to look totally different. Don't
Totally
be surprised.
different,
I'm just kidding.
redecorated. That's right. And John has decided that he's going to work with us more often. So-
Yeah. This is good. It's been good.
Thank you for tuning in this morning. I'm Betsy Barnes. I'm here with my co-host, Lisa McKenzie of Unite Empowerment Events. And we are going to be joined shortly by Tia Willis. She is the president of Baton Rouge AIA chapter. She does a phenomenal job. And I tell you what, that is an organization on the grow, on the move, because if you look at 225 magazine, you can see all about next gen design, an article not only about AIA Baton Rouge, but also about the Rose Awards and the winners. And so the chairperson, the chairwoman extraordinaire, who I've been introducing you to all morning, is Amanda Meir. So we're really looking forward to having them tell us a little bit more about AIA Baton Rouge. So come on in. We're going to just jump right in, have a seat. So with me this morning are Tia Willis. She's the 2025 president of AIA Baton Rouge, as I mentioned. She is the architect and project manager for the LSU Ag Center Office of Facilities Planning. Thank you so much for what you do. Go Tigers.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, get comfortable. Feel free to move that microphone wherever you need it. And I'm going to share with Lisa.
Have a seat.
Have a seat. These chairs don't slide down like the other ones did. And then we also have Amanda Meir. Now, in addition to doing really beautiful events like AIA Baton Rouge Rose Awards, which the two of them have done for the last 2 years, I've been fortunate enough to go to both, and they were spectacular, honoring excellence in design. We have some incredible architects and engineers and designers and people in the construction industry here, phenomenal. But Amanda Meir is the one that led that effort this year. And when she's not putting on fantastic events where everybody feels so honored and truly welcome, she's also the LSU Director of Capital Renewal and Planning, Design, and Construction. I love beautiful women with big titles. I do. I do. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much, Betsy and Lisa, for having us this morning.
So I know when I first approached you about, hey, would you like to come on the morning show with me? You were kind of like, I don't know. But I'm so glad that you're here because I really do think that you represent AIA Baton Rouge so beautifully. But I think you also represent LSU beautifully. And I don't mean by appearance. I mean by the work that you do and what you pour into others that are making our campus something to really be proud of. And the facilities are just growing. So I'd love for you first to tell us about the design awards, the Rose Awards, but then I'd like you to tell us a little bit about what you have going on at LSU.
Sure, I would love to. Once again, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
having us. We're so excited.
We're glad you're here.
Yes, we said, what time do you want us there? And then
Oh, dark 30.
Well, it was our pleasure to host the AIA Baton Rouge Rose Awards once again this year. We had it, and we had a wonderful jury panel of 3 jurors, and they awarded some beautiful projects this year.
Gorgeous projects, and some you probably are aware of.
Yes. So to kick it off, I'd love to just start about our bronze Rose Awards. We had Holly and Smith that were awarded for the Nunez Community College. And you might find these projects in the real estate report that is out from Baton Rouge Business Report right now. So we'd love it if you took a look at that. The Nunez Community College and Career Counseling Center is in Chalmette, and Holly and Smith was awarded for that. The center gives the community and technical college a bold new identity. So we were very pleased to highlight Holly and Smith architects.
They do beautiful work.
They do.
All of these do beautiful work. All of those that applied for the award or that were nominated for the award, they all do phenomenal work. And it outlasts our lives. It really does.
So our next award winner was a bronze award winner for the Cathedral of St. John the Evangelist renovation in Lafayette. And the award winner was Hoff Power Studio Architects. So we were really excited because Hoff Power was a new entry for us, and they won. So this restoration turned back the clock on a 1916 Dutch Romanesque revival church, which transformed decades of wear into a renewed expression of sacred beauty. And so we
Yes.
were so excited for Hoff Power.
Is that still being used as a church, or
It is.
I mean, I'm looking at the photo. I hope people get a chance to actually look that up. That is stunning. Well, all these pictures that you're looking at right now, the audience can't see, but oh my gosh, beautiful.
Yes, the business report did a phenomenal job, so we were very excited for our 2 bronze award winners. Next, we had a silver award winner, which is very near and dear to both T and I's heart. It's the Huey P. Long Fieldhouse renovation and addition for RHH Architects and Tipton Associates. And this is, of course, on LSU's campus. This restoration reimagined a very beloved, but as we all know, it was long neglected student space that was once at the heart of our campus. So we were very pleased to award RHH and Tipton for the Huey P. Long Fieldhouse renovation.
I got to go on the AIA Baton Rouge tour of that. They kept all the historical things, the floor, the medallion, everything that was so important, and just did a phenomenal job. I think, was Arkell the general contractor on that?
Yes.
They kind of gave the tour, and it was wonderful. So we have about a minute, and then we'll come back right after the break. So that one is spectacular, actually.
It really is phenomenal. We've hosted quite a few tours, so it's quite the showpiece. I encourage everybody to get out there and see that project
Meeting
on the LSU
spaces,
campus.
recreational spaces, labs, office spaces, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, phenomenal.
Okay, who's next? We have about 30 seconds, but we'll come back and we'll if that isn't enough time to share those, we can come back.
Sure. So
Okay.
I'd love to share our gold award winners maybe when we get back.
That'll be great. I'm here with Tia Willis and Amanda Meir. We're talking about AIA Baton Rouge, the American Institute of Architects, on Talk 107.3 FM, the takeover of the Brian Haldane Show. And we'll be right back.
What a fun job. Can I see those pictures?
Sure.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe these images.
They have all the math ability and design ability and creativity that I wish I was blessed with. Yes.
Okay.
Can you take a quick picture? Just make sure that doesn't block your face. Thank you.
You're doing great.
Oh,
Yes, you are.
this is
But
hard.
anyway, I want to look at this. No, you're doing so good. I cannot believe how beautiful these places
Oh.
are.
Well, see, my nieces are in the med school in Shreveport. It's phenomenal. So when we went for the white coat ceremony and took a tour and all that, my niece had been there sitting next to the governor. It was John Bell Edwards at the time for the opening of that. And then her class is the first one that will graduate from that. Yeah, and so one is in med school in her 4th year. The other one is, that's right, the other one is in physician's assistant school. So they're in and out of that building all the time. I love that building.
Oh, cool. That's incredible.
It's beautiful.
So you have to get on campus, which it is, you go through a guard station.
You talking about the field house?
Mhm.
Oh, there's not a pool anymore, is there?
No, so there's no pool anymore. They filled it in. It's a lawn. Yes, but you can get on campus. You just have to. Yes, and you would go to the welcome center and get like a visitor pass to get through. So. You look so familiar. So
John came with me the last 2 years. Or we
Oh,
went together. She
excellent.
didn't come with me. We went
I'm
together.
sure that I had met you there. It was kind of a blur though.
Yeah. It was beautiful. We got to get you in.
We
We
do.
got to get you in talking.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We gotta-
Why don't
we gotta
you
let you in.
Why
Wait,
don't you just do
tell me
the
when.
gold? You're the president.
I think you're doing a fine
I
job.
think you are.
I just wanted to throw in that AIA is American Institute of Architects.
What did I say?
Just AIA.
Oh, okay.
No, you've been covering it. Just
So people know
kind
what
of
it stands
iterate
for.
what AIA
Oh, yeah.
is.
Well, why
Feel
don't
free to
you
repeat yourself
say
more than
that
once.
first, and
Okay.
then I'll jump in after that with the gold.
Okay. I thought, did I say the wrong thing?
I can't have
Ready?
a meeting.
And welcome back to Talk 107.3 FM. We are not the new flavor of talk. We are now the woman's takeover, the women you need to watch leading ladies takeover on a Tuesday. Getting ready for our LSU Tigers to beat UCLA starting at 10 a.m. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern, but we are not on Eastern time, so it doesn't matter. So it's all about LSU and the Tigers. So we're looking forward to that win, but we have some already winners for the AIA, American Institute of Architects in Baton Rouge. And we're here with Tia Willis. She is the president. And then we are also here with executive board member Amanda Meir of AIA Baton Rouge. They both are with LSU, Tia with the LSU Ag Center, Amanda with LSU Planning, and very beautiful titles. And I'll get them right, and I'll repeat that in a moment. But we want to talk about the winners of the Excellence in Design Awards, the Rose Design Awards. So, Tia, that was a phenomenal exchange of gratitude for the work that so many had done.
Betsy, we have a phenomenal team of designers, architects, industry professionals in the Baton Rouge area that practice well beyond Baton Rouge across the country. And as architects for our chapter, it's such a treat to celebrate each other. And
Yes.
this year, for the second year in a row, Amanda Meir has led our Rose Design Awards planning. And so we're back after the break
Exquisite details.
with exquisite details, and
Yes.
her vision just carries through down to the branded cocktail at the event. So it was such a treat to celebrate incredible design and bring everyone together for an opportunity to just enjoy each other's company.
Well, like any business, architects are competing, for that job or that project, but everybody doesn't behave that way as competition. They look at each other as friends and colleagues, and it really is a great time for everybody to celebrate each other. And it's in the 225 magazine, so you can learn a little bit more about that, and also the real estate magazine. Is that right?
Yes, so the current issue of the Baton Rouge Business Report, the Real Estate Report, has featured our beautiful winners. And without further ado, I can talk about our Gold Award winners.
That's right.
So we gave out different levels of Rose Awards, and the Gold Rose Awards were the highest honor. So we awarded 2 Gold Rose Awards. The first of those, we were very pleased, was for a new category for us for interior architecture, and it was a new firm entry, Teak by Day, with Tsunami at Highland.
That is such a
And-
cool restaurant, too. I love Tsunami downtown, but that's a totally different vibe and feeling in the one at Highland Road. That is beautiful. Highland and Bluebonnet, I believe.
Yes. So I have not seen this project yet, and I'm dying to go. So the
Happy
photos.
Feet and the Michael Dumit roll, 2 of my favorites.
Uh,
Yes.
well, we need to go.
Yes.
And it was an absolutely beautiful project, a restaurant built out, which was absolutely transformed. So congratulations to Teak by Day for their Gold Rose Award. Our second Gold Rose Award winner was the LSU Health Center for Medical Education and Wellness in Shreveport by Coleman Partners Architects and Perkins and Will. This absolutely stunning project redefined the student experience by blending health and learning in nature and transforming the space. It replaced a dated facility and the parking lot and created a 150,000 square foot project, which we were so proud to award Coleman Partners Architects and Perkins and Will with our Gold Rose Award.
It'd be hard to compete against that particular project only because it is so stunning. When you walk in, and I'm fortunate enough to have been there a couple of 3 times now, when you go in, there's a basketball court surrounded by glass to the right. And then you go up, there's an escalator. It's great branding by LSU. It's just phenomenal. And then there's smaller study areas, larger meeting spaces, but it really is sparkling and spectacular. It really, truly is. So anybody going to study anything in health, allied health, or medicine, that's where they go.
And that particular design team designed the water campus, which is where our design awards were hosted. So it's a treat to experience the different
I can see the
spaces from
similarity a little bit.
our chapter members.
Yeah, in the angles and in the glass, the amount of glass. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Tell us some of the things that AIA Baton Rouge offers to their members and some of the things that are going on and coming up.
Absolutely. Thank you for this opportunity, Betsy. We have got a robust energy in our chapter that's been growing. I'll be happy to share kind of since our executive director, Shannon Robertson, came on board in the last few years. We've got an excellent team of leaders with our board of directors, and this year we're planning a new event. Is going to be a product fair at the bowling alley, and it's one of the first times we'll have a family-friendly event come to our chapter. So we're very excited about that, as well as continuing education and a habitat build coming up in the fall. So this year we've been really capitalizing on everything that's been building from the past few years and looking to how we can expand our architectural footprint and advocacy for the profession.
So if somebody maybe is not as interested in the products, but they just want to support AIA and the things that AIA is doing, they can come bowl
Absolutely.
and they can come build.
They absolutely
So
can.
you don't have to be a member to jump in and enjoy.
No, and we've got a fantastic team of industry professionals, engineers, contractors, consultants that and vendors that support our chapter and joining as allied members, supporting our luncheon events, our continuing education, bringing talks and expertise from their areas to our members. So there's a ton of opportunity to get involved.
So if you have a student that's interested in design, architecture, engineering, it might be a good idea for them to maybe jump in and meet some of the people that are architects and designers. And you could do that through the bowling tournament. You could maybe do that with the Habitat Build. You might have a high schooler, maybe somebody in college, not really sure, but they have a lot of great math skills or they have a lot of creative genius, and you want to connect them with people to just inspire them and see what a day in the life might be like. And I think that people don't realize the impact to a community that good architecture has. It not only, I think, brings pride to your area, but it also shows the investment that people have in improving what's there now can always get better instead of what's there now can always become blighted. I think it makes a
Absolutely.
difference.
Design is really about a mindset. Our architects practice in a lot of not necessarily traditional avenues of design and build, like Amanda and myself on the facility side, kind of leading that think tank of we have a challenge now, how do we work towards a long-term sustainable solution for a facility. Um, it's really about kind of opening your mind and being creative. And so for young kids out there, and even those who kind of want to explore a new career path, connecting with architects is always a fun way to think outside the box and bounce ideas of where is there a need and where can we, as a designer, think to serve that capacity.
And a lot of times you're given kind of an impossible situation or location or seemingly a possible budget, and you have to really look at what can we do? What's the most we can do for the least amount of money often? Because sometimes some of the different capital outlay projects take a while to get funding. So sometimes in the college and university space, doesn't it seem like you have a great idea, you have a great design, we'll have to wait till the next session to have that funded. And then, so there are challenges there, but LSU is really growing and booming. Of course, I'm an LSU Tiger, so
We are too.
I say that with pride. I think everybody in my family is either a Tiger or an Aggie. So it's kind of like, I have a few cousins of UT, but mostly Tigers and Aggies. But I really am so in admiration of what you do because you work with teams for a solution to things that don't maybe appear to be a problem to somebody else, but it's a space that could be better utilized or space that could house a program that's better. The interdisciplinary science building that was designed by S.Q. Dumas out of New Orleans, S.Q. Dumas Ripple, and being built by Mike Polito's MAP Construction is going to be a phenomenal project, I think.
Yes, it's a really exciting time for LSU right now,
Yeah.
especially for that building, which is flying up. MAP
It really is.
doing an excellent job with that building. I'm excited to see it come up. And that project is going to be completed, it's set to be complete in the spring of 2026 for use in the fall semester. So I'm really excited about that. We actually have a level of unprecedented amount of work for our campus, which is an exciting time to work for LSU.
Yes.
We have, of course, that interdisciplinary science building, which we lovingly call the ISB. We are also working on that new LSU library, which is also set to be completed in fall 2028. We have...
It's going to change the footprint and the location.
Yes, it's such an exciting time. That building is going to really provide a greater impact for what a library is for our campus. Also, you may have heard about our construction and advanced manufacturing building, which is another.
No, I have not heard about that. Tell us real quickly about that.
So that is, we are working very closely with our College of Engineering to develop it. It is in its early stages, and we have not hired the construction manager at risk yet.
Oh, so it's going to be a CMAR project.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot to learn about that. So that is construction under management at risk. right? And the in Louisiana, the New Orleans airport was the first project that was done as a CMAR project. Is that correct?
Yes. So LSU is very pleased to be able to use this as a legislative tool because what this does is it allows our contractors to get on board and negotiate with our designers
Early.
earlier on, so that we can make a better building and get that building turned out faster.
Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, I'm such a nerd in that. Like other people are like, why is that exciting? It is very exciting because it brings a whole new level of construction and construction management to Baton Rouge. I am so grateful that y'all have been here. Thank you so much, Amanda Meir. Thank you so much, Tia Willis with AIA Baton Rouge. And I tell you what, there's really good things going on. And if you're interested in learning more, you need to go to aiabatonrouge.org, or you need to go ahead and go to Facebook and check them out. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And this is the Women to Watch takeover of the Brian Haldane on Talk 107.3 FM. Did that? Do you think we covered everything?
Great.
I want to hear all about this project. I
Makes
literally
me want to be an architect.
I want to get all our
could've
stuff
talked all
approved so
day.
we can Are you I'm excited about that. I just learned about CMAR projects because they're not really a Louisiana thing. And I don't think
trying
there's-
to be. So yeah.
One I didn't mention to highlight would be the Burden Welcome Center that SQ Dumas Ripple designed also. But for Burden, it's kind of opened up to all of Baton Rouge community, so it's more accessible to families and different nonprofit chapters to rent space.
Oh wow, that's so. It's
There's
the
an
Burden
opportunity to tie
Welcome
it in.
Center.
Mhm.
It's going to be the Central Park of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, it's our Ag Center Botanical Research Station. So it kind of wears multiple hats, and the Rural Life Museum is housed there.
Okay. Well, I've been there a
there's
bunch of times for different things in the L'Orangerie, and I used to I'd MC the Gourmet in the Garden. Yes, I did that a couple of years. That was fun. It should have to MC something for a year or two. They need to move on to somebody else. Bring in a different energy.
Well, yeah.
I was fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. Basically, I just got to eat and drink and then talk a little bit. Hey, how you doing? Next up, da 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 da. It was easy. I loved it. That was beautiful out there.
You are so good at that.
You're so sweet.
Yes.
I can't design a building, but all I know how to talk is talk. That's my only.
That is a talent, let me tell you.
All right. So, do y'all want to stay and listen to Jean's
I'd
segment?
love to.
Please do. Please do.
Thank
We're
you so
talking about
much for
cost
having us.
segregation. I'm just learning about that too.
You could just stay.
Where's it going to be? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll share it with our
Yeah, y'all can stay here.
I'll share it with I'll share the link
Yeah.
with our board.
Yeah. Do you want to just sit right here and
Sure.
and if y'all have a question, we'll just chime in.
Sure.
You might have a question for Jean.
I might grab my
Now
coffee.
that chair kind of
I was worried I was
just
going
so
to
you know.
spill it.
I know. I already did.
come right here, Jean. So if you have a question, you can just share a microphone with Jean.
My short little legs are going to be dangling.
You got to scooch it up.
I had a conversation with my 80-year-old self. Do I go and do this? I am not used to doing this.
With your
but
80-year-old
I have
Right.
lots of conversations with my
What
80-year-old
would your 7-year-old self say?
That's the
Go
person I
do
think
it.
about.
Go do it.
So she's going to talk about a few of the things that she does, but I want y'all to jump in if you have a question you think it's related to any kind of state building, renovation, whatever, because they do a variety of different things. So I'm going to have her just kind of run down, what those things are. And green tape. Can't forget about green tape.
Yeah.
Green zip tape. I can't. 3 words, and I can't seem to get them all out together.
It's okay.
I'm so glad y'all are here. You might have a question too, so just pull this over if you have a
Okay.
question. So I'm going to let Jean go through kind of what she does, and then we can pepper you with questions.
That's perfect. I will try to stay out of the weeds. It gets kind of technical.
You may have to scoot up a little bit.
Okay.
Got to be a little closer.
All right.
But there could be something that y'all have that's related to architecture in what she's doing. And so I think that's good.
Well, is green
Possibly someone from our corporate office could have been. Yeah, because we're starting to get into, well, traditionally we've done just the cost segregation portion. So we're pulling the plans and the cost detail from the
Maybe you're
project
hearing a frequency.
after the project was done.
What
But
time are
some
we
of the
coming
stuff
back?
that we're doing now comes in the design phase. So we're getting more involved with the architects because you guys can earn lead credits and things like that. And it's a sustainable product. That's what the green zip tape is.
What do we have
And,
left?
179D. Are you familiar with that?
How about we built
So
the city?
if it's a nonprofit or a governmental building,
Is
they
it?
don't pay taxes.
Okay. What was the other one that we
So-
hadn't played?
So the 179D tax credit
I
is
love
available
Nelly.
to the lead designer, and they can get the tax credit. So
Okay,
I
let's
just
do
did a
build.
project
Let's do
on,
build this city. Yes.
I haven't met those clients.
No.
I haven't met most of my clients because it's usually referrals through CPAs
Yes.
and stuff like that. But they they designed. It was
I
an
tell you what,
engineer firm
Can you
that
can
designed a
you
bunch of, like airport hangars and things like that.
My
that
son has a song that would be
qualify
really
for the
good.
credit. So for that particular engineering firm, it was
No, but I
about
can
$2
send it to you.
million
Since I
in
can
deductions
text it to you.
that he gets to have. Now,
It's
because
called
normally
Luck
what we
of the
do is
Draw, and
in
it's
the
on his
for-profit sector.
Instagram.
But the 179D can, with a letter of allocation.
No,
the
it's
credits
you have to go look at
allocated to the-
Instagram. PEYTONORTH.
In the weeds, it's going to be fun. It'll be good. Because most people.
We'll do it a break.
It's like kind of over their head. Did you understand?
Okay, you ready?
Sure.
And welcome back to the Women to Watch takeover of Talk 1073 FM. I am not Brian Haldane. I am Betsy Barnes. I'm here with Lisa McKenzie. I'm here with Tia Willis and Amanda Meir of AIA Baton Rouge. That's the American Institute for Architects. And Jean Trum. Jean is an amazing tax consultant with CSSI Services. And we just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that people can do when they're building. So these are smart women. These are women who are connected in a lot of different ways. These are women that can save you money, make you money, help heal your heart and soul through Unite. That's right.
We
We're
need
the
all of
full
the above.
package. And we got a couple of others we're adding in the next hour, and that will be Christy Hike. She's the founder and president of Louisiana Republican Assembly, as well as Katie Alexander. She's the co-founder of LACAG, Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group, and Megan Ryburn, our good friend with the Louisiana Travel Association. She's the director of external affairs. But right now, we're going to talk with Jean Trum. We have kind of a panel discussion going on, and so I want to just, see what Jean, the variety of things that she offers. I want to see what she has to share with us about a couple of these things that could truly save your company, your construction project, money, and could also help architects and designers in that. So we're talking about women that built this city, and there's a bunch of them. So we're representing, just to let you know. So Jean, thank you so much for being here this morning. I know it's an early morning.
It is an early morning. I'm not usually up this early, but thank
Come
you
on,
for
yes, you are.
Thank you for having me here. So at CSSI, we are based in Baton Rouge. We were started in Baton Rouge by Jim Shreve. And collectively, we are, even though we're local, we're a national firm. Collectively, we've done studies on very small properties up to $1 billion portfolios all over the country. So we work with clients, people who are builders, people who are doing new construction, or they may have some of my favorite projects are out in New Orleans, where it was an old building that actually one of the oldest boutique hotels in New Orleans was one of my projects, and I got to see every little nook and cranny of that. But typically what we do is we work in the for-profit sector, and I love that we're here with the AIA ladies because we're starting to do some things in the nonprofit sector that benefit the architects and also have some green benefits to it as well. So what do we do at CSSI? Well, the IRS, that we're going to get tax technical here for a second.
We don't really like them too too much. We're
Right.
scared of the IRS. It's like
Right.
going to the dentist when you know you got bad issues. It's never good when you talk to them unless you have a cost segregation study done. And then
Right.
it could be really good news.
By a qualified engineering-based study firm that does engineering-based studies. So when I got started with CSSI about 15 years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom and got a little too familiar with the housewives across the country and decided to go find something that I could bring to the marketplace that was useful and made a really big difference. That was also very flexible, that I could hang out with my kids when I needed to. So over the last 15 years, collectively, I've been fortunate enough to meet some wonderful folks that build and buy commercial properties. Some of them are dentists that also own their own building that they operate out of, and some are doctors and attorneys that have high incomes that they want to offset their taxable income, because that is ultimately what we do, is we offset someone's taxable income so they can keep more of their
Through
money.
extended depreciation.
Right. So what we do, what a cost segregation study does, is you can either depreciate a commercial building or a residential rental. So we do a lot of Airbnbs, multi-family properties, individual homes that are leased out. And what we do is if the owner of that property owes taxes, we offset that taxable income significantly many times. So fortunately, I've been able to personally work with folks to mitigate taxes by tens of millions of dollars over the last 15 years. So it's a lot of fun. My clients like the results that we get for them.
And CPAs actually send you a lot of business when somebody's
Mm-hmm.
buying, renovating, selling a business.
Right, we do. We are known as nationally as a significant resource to CPAs. We do a lot of CPE classes that are complimentary because there's a lot of questions that CPAs typically have, clients typically have, and cost segregation's been around for a while, and it blows my mind how many people who have very large portfolios have never even heard of it. So creating awareness and making sure that people have the correct information, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. CPAs don't necessarily always understand how to apply it to someone's tax return and what the actual ins and outs are. So we do a lot of training for the CPAs, and we actually, because we are, it's called green zip tape you were
Yes.
mentioning. So we do cost segregation. There's a lot of repair regulation studies that we do, meaning actually another one of my favorite projects was just down the street here in downtown Baton Rouge, where it was an architect that owned the building, and he said, John, we're doing historical tax credits. We're not doing cost segregation on this study. I said, well, the rules have changed. Let's just dig into the details. And another one of our applications is called a partial asset disposition. So if someone's owned a building for 5 years or just a few months, just depending on where it lands in the calendar year, we were able to, by just digging into the details of that conversation and that project, we were able to do the calculations on the partial asset disposition, meaning like cash in the trash, because they completely gutted the building, threw everything away, but there was depreciable basis left.
So you
in
can
that.
get money,
So you can get
depreciation
money.
for your junk.
Yeah, what
For
you're
your
throwing
tear down,
away.
your walls and your
Yes.
equipment and your whatever else is in there.
Yeah,
You can end up maybe saving some money,
absolutely.
not just paying the dumpster
There's
people to pick it
depreciable
up.
value left in those components that they were throwing away. So to the tune of about 400 grand that they were able to pocket. And if they had
That's a lot of
not,
change.
right, if they had not had that conversation in time, because it's a very timely application, if they waited another year, they would have lost that 400,000 because it would not have been
Wow.
available. So, so it's I always say it's very important to have the conversation
So if you
early
own-
on,
yeah.
and even before you buy something, I'll have my clients call me and say, I'm looking at these 5 different properties. What is the tax piece to that? And sometimes the tax piece, because A lot of people don't realize, or they realize it, but they don't think that there's a way to mitigate that tax piece that they're looking at paying. But if they're smart about it and are super strategic about how they do their construction, how they do their renovations in a timely manner, how they do their repairs, even if they've owned the building for 15 years, there's a tax play for a lot of that.
That's kind of
Absolutely.
amazing. So before you buy real estate, before you invest in that piece of property, you might want to give Jean a call and just find out what can we
what
do.
is the tax play? What are we looking? What is the strategy?
Well, if you're looking
over
at
the
two or
next-
three different
Mhm.
properties, let's say you've got this chunk of money you want to invest, and you've decided you want to do this, one might work, and the other's
Right.
not. But you might like one of them that doesn't work as much. The cost savings might make you like that one more.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you're looking at investing, you're not going to live there necessarily.
Right.
You're looking at this as being a long-term investment strategy or something till the market goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people own property. You know, they don't want to tell everybody all that they own.
No,
But, you know, that's right. But they could own warehouses. They could own a variety of different properties,
Mhm.
shopping centers, retail strip centers, multi-family housing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's an opportunity there.
Mm-hmm. And then with you were asking about construction, and this is where we come in with the architects. It's called green zip tape. It is the only it's drywall tape. It's very sticky, and I'm learning the construction language, so please
Sticky
bear.
is a technical term.
Well, that's my term. That would be my term.
Sticky
So,
tape is always
It's
good.
very sticky. So it's one of my clients built a local hospital, and again, they're looking at the tax benefits, and he said, we're building. This is what's going on. I said, oh, have you put up your walls yet? And he said, no. I said, well, let me just run some numbers for you, and he was very familiar with cost segregation and what it did for his bottom line and for the investment group. But when I showed him what constructing with green zip tape versus any other drywall tape did for his bottom line, he's like, where do I sign? How do I do this? Because it basically doubled his cost segregation benefits. So instead of getting X amount of dollars, they got double that. And on a $25-30 million building, it's significant. So
Did he send you a Christmas gift? Because he should have.
yes.
Okay.
No.
Like, you know, at least like a big bottle of wine, you know.
So why does that save somebody money? What is the benefit
Well,
of that?
what happens without getting super technical about it, what cost segregation does is it allows for you to accelerate certain components in the property. So, like drop ceilings, anything that makes the guts of a building for the purpose of that building. So, a warehouse is very different than a medical facility. An office is very different than a warehouse, just
Or a
different,
hotel,
or a
or
hotel
office
or
building.
something like that. So the guts of the building typically can be accelerated. That's where the tax savings comes from. So what green zip tape does is it allows anything that is attached to the wall that is constructed with green zip tape can be put into that faster depreciation schedule, that time frame, to where it doubles what we can put into that 5-year category. So that's where the tax savings comes from. So, and it's actually the only drywall tape that is. I'm kind of giggling
IRS.
here because 15 years I never would have imagined myself being a stay-at-home mom talking about drywall tape and
Selling
taxes.
drywall tape on the radio.
Yes, on the radio. So, yeah. So I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
It's the only one that.
Yeah,
about
that the IRS, they actually did pretty extensive studies to make sure that it would do what it said it would do, and it does. And it makes the walls movable, which is it makes it sustainable, because you're not throwing anytime you're wanting to get behind a wall to improve, to fix something, or you want to reconfigure. A lot of apartment complexes are looking at this. If they're leasing out more 2 bedrooms versus 3 bedrooms, they can just zip that tape up on that seam and then demount the walls and put it back the way that they want to. So,
Or add more walls.
or add more walls if you want. But the idea is to not have to throw away the drywall and create an environmental issue that way.
So it didn't go into the landfill.
Exactly.
So that's sustainable.
Mhm.
So Jean Trum, if somebody has questions
Yes.
about, how can they save money on their property, or if they manage property, or they are a commercial realtor or broker or
Mhm.
CPA or attorney, how can they reach you? And I want you to stay through the break, but how
Sure.
can they reach you?
I'll just give my phone number out. It's 225-772-0904. Or you can go to my corporate link at jtrum.csssistudy.com and reach me through there.
And you can also send a message to Talk 1073 FM, and we will also get that to you, Jean.
Okay.
We'll be right back with Talk 1073 FM, Women to Watch Takeover.
Is that too technical? Did y'all?
No, I thought it was
Okay,
great.
Okay, good.
I thought that was great. Okay, you got another couple of minutes. When we come back, how many minutes? 3? Okay. Okay.
All I
So-
think about, was that like a private company, that like a Shark Tank style company that came around with something like that?
Well, the founder of the company was an engineer for different purposes. Like he and then there was a benchmark case with the Hospital Corporation of America where they were being sued by. There was an issue with the IRS because the IRS was saying they owed all this money, and they said we don't have all this stuff in our building anymore. We should be able to depreciate it faster. So they won. And actually, the IRS auditor was like, well, you can do that, but we're not going to tell you. So the judge was like, you're done. And, so it created an entire industry about 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and our company he was one of the pioneers in the industry, helping people just get the standards of how this is done. So he was in the beginning. Yeah.
Isn't that kind of cool?
Are
Yeah.
you guys all LSU graduates?
Yes.
I
Everybody?
went there, did not graduate. I had a lot of fun in college. A little too much fun.
It's hard not to have fun at LSU.
Yeah.
If you don't have fun at LSU, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, those sunny days in the quad, were just hard to get into class. Yeah. Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
I had a lot of fun in college. Yeah.
So when we come back, I'm going to introduce everybody, and then do y'all want to ask a question of Jean? Do you have any questions
Sure.
that you want to ask? I don't know how it would
I think
affect the
that'd be
college
great.
university
Yeah,
thing.
I need to think of one.
So, I mean, I'm thinking, is
Well,
there
we
any
have-
application for us working in nonprofit sector? How would we engage with you? That's kind of where I'm headed.
Yeah, so on some of because green zip tape is not inexpensive, because you're buying a license, you're not actually buying the tape, so you're buying the license to do it. But if it's in the budget to have a license to construct these big properties that because y'all are typically doing fairly large projects at LSU.
You may want to ask that question again when we get on the air, too.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's going to be my question.
Okay.
That's really
That's
important.
totally fine. Yeah.
That's really important. So there is something where architects and designers can get a tax break
Correct.
for their firm.
And that would be the second thing.
And that would be
Mhm.
beneficial to the members, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
like
if
historical tax credits, is that an expertise that you?
no, it's not. We take that
Coming
into
back in
account
one?
because we can't double dip in that. Yeah.
And then we'll have 5 minutes before we hard break. Okay.
I think I met the lady who's coming in. What do you do?
I'm so like fish out of water here with all you guys.
I feel like I'm
because,
blocking you. I'm
For
sorry.
one, my kids went to University of Alabama.
Okay.
Forgive me.
Yeah.
But I mean,
forgiven.
as a parent who had scholarships awarded, like roll tide. And then, but no, I run a nonprofit for women battling cancer. And that
So
was
this is
awesome.
my friend Lisa with Unite.
Okay. Yeah.
That does the
So
women's empowerment events
are
for
you,
women with cancer.
Involved much with the Best Breast Cancer event?
No.
I haven't been real active this year, but I have been for probably
here in
8
LA,
years.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
I think I went. Do they do the runway show?
Yeah,
Yes,
they
they
decorate
do.
bras.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, I'd have to
It
start
was
working out
fun.
now to do it for
And
next year.
so now,
2026.
when they first started it, the women who were models, because a couple of people dropped out, and then they asked me, and that was another question I had for my 80-year-old self is, do you do this or not? Yes, so I did, and I ended up doing it twice, and it was extremely empowering to do that. But no, I'm not. I've had biopsies, which were scary. But now all of the models, I would say, for the last 5 years are either going through
Yeah.
treatment or have survived treatment. So
Ready? Oh, sorry. And you're back with Talk 107.3 FM. I'm Betsy Barnes here with Lisa McKenzie with Unite Empowering Events, Jean Trum with CSSI Services for Cost Segregation. I'm also here with Amanda Meir. You need to meet these ladies. So I'm introducing you to these ladies. If you haven't met them, you need to meet them in person. Amanda Meir, who is the chairman of the Rose Awards for AIA Baton Rouge, phenomenal event, and Tia Willis, who is the current AIA Baton Rouge president. So we're doing a takeover of Brian's studio and having a mighty fine morning. We really are. So coming up in the next hour are going to be Christy Hike and Katie Alexander. And Christy is with Louisiana Republican Assembly, and Katie Norwood Alexander is with LeCag. She's the co-founder. So we're going to talk about citizens advocacy. So we were talking with Jean about some of the cost segregation things. And did you have a question? And you might want to pull that microphone closer so everybody can hear you.
I did. Thank you so much, John. I've really enjoyed hearing you speak this morning. So my question is, so both Tia and I obviously work for higher education.
Mhm.
What are some ways that we as professionals working in higher education could apply some of the things that you're talking about this morning?
As far as the students,
Well,
From-
as design professionals
Okay.
who have oversight
Right.
over some of the buildings.
In the nonprofit sector?
Yes.
in the nonprofit sector. Okay. So really, a couple of the applications that we have, I would say if you are really looking for something sustainable for your project, the green zip tape would be fantastic because it's not for profit. They're not paying taxes. So if the green zip tape is in the budget, because you're actually buying, you're paying for a license to construct with that. So in the for-profit world, that's great if you're eventually wanting to sell the property because the license goes along with the building. It's transferable, so the next owner can take advantage
That's
of
really
the tax
great.
benefits. Yeah, it really is. But if you're looking to build a super sustainable building, green zip tape would be great. So if it was in the budget to include that, that would be one thing. And then another thing, and I just did a project. We're almost done with the calculations on that one, but it was a bunch of like airplane hangars and things like that. That typically, and it was a governmental building, so they're not paying taxes. But the engineer who was the lead designer on that project, with a letter of allocation, he was able to get significant tax credits through 179D, which is even more tax technical than cost segregation. So we won't go into the super details on that. But he was able to, just on, I think it was 6 projects that he had done, and was just curious, hey, I've heard about this 179D thing. The owners of the property, they're governmental, so they can't use the tax credits, but I heard that I could. So can you work with me on this? And just on those projects that he was the lead design on, it was about $2 million in deductions that he was going to receive. So his tax liability has been diminished significantly for his firm.
Wow, that's some powerful incentive for some of our designers, which sometimes we do need.
I do
Right.
think for architects and designers and engineers, they just are so busy doing their daily that they don't have a chance to say, how can I maybe save money on this? Because it's almost like you don't want to poke the bear, with the IRS. You don't want to say to the CPA, hey, you've never mentioned this, and I heard this on the radio, and I think I'd like to find out a little bit more, feel free to call Jean. Tell people how they can get in touch with you, because what if you could save or get a tax credit for $2 million and you have a firm and you want to invest? That's $2 million. I mean, that's $25,000. That's $10,000.
And also R&D tax credits. Are you familiar with those? We also do those as well. So,
But these are free assessments.
yeah, free. Yeah, we will do our due diligence up front to make sure it's a good qualifying application for sure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity to learn, but you got to talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about. Not all CPAs do that. Nothing negative about CPAs, but the architect and design world is a different world.
Well, the
They look at things
CPAs
very
have so
differently.
much to keep track of. These are very specialized applications that they generally will hire someone out that that is specifically an expert in these applications. So typically,
So what is your email if people can email you?
Jean, and that's JEANNE .trum. That's TRUM at CSSIservices.com.
Yeah, and so
my
what about
email.
the AIA Baton Rouge? If people want to reach out to AIA Baton Rouge, they want to join, they want to get involved, they want to get, go to the bowling tournament, they want to do the Habitat for Humanity build. How can they reach out to you and to Shannon Robertson, the executive director?
We are building our website and growing it tremendously. So AIA Baton Rouge, AIABR.com. And search for us. We have LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook channels that are live thanks to a media committee of our board of directors that was formed this year. So we're
Yay.
really looking to bring followers to kind of be on the pulse of what's happening each month.
I think I want to challenge people to go hug your architect. Go hug a police officer, go hug a veteran. How about go hug your
Go hug a-
architect
I love
or your
that,
interior
Betsy.
designer? Just a thank you for what you do. Like, we just need to show appreciation to those people. We literally use their design of their project as a landmark. Really, honestly, we're
Well-
standing in an iconic landmark right here at Guarantee Media. This has been a few things prior to being Guarantee Media. So I do think you need to go hug your architect today.
I love that, Betsy, because primarily architects need to listen. And so we're wearing a lot of hats and kind of listening and tuning in to shows like yours this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Helps us connect with the community to really understand what the needs are to better design and serve our clients and others that we work with. So.
Well, this has been a great takeover for the second hour. We're going into the third hour of the Woman Who You Need to Watch takeover of the Brian Haldane Morning Show on Talk 107.3 FM. Hey, Brian, if you're listening, we want to take over again. This is not a one and done, just so you know. Okay, we'll be right back with Talk 107.3 FM. Stay tuned for the next hour of the Women's Takeover. I can't design a building. I can't design interiors. I just hawk products. I don't.
Everybody has their gift.
Tie it all together.
We need to bring them in and get the big.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I just really love
I was wondering who's the other brunette. I'm only seeing
Christy.
Well, except for John, but I didn't think you were talking about him. The other.
Let me go-
other
I'll go
brunette.
grab 'em.
She said 6 blondes and 2 brunettes, and I was
I
like,
think
"Where's
she's
the other
wrong
brunette?"
on that count, actually. No,
Yeah,
Christy's
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Christy's brother,
Yeah.
So I think she's right.
Now, fortified roofs, is that something that you would look into for tax credits or?
That's
I was
a good
scared to ask a question because I didn't,
Yeah.
I need to educate
Well,
myself more.
and it's okay because I would just say, well, that's a good question. You wouldn't embarrass me. I can look into that for you.
Fortified roof system.
Do you have a card? Because I'm gonna make sure that I get that email to you. So no, it's
No.
fine. I'll get it.
But
From,
I'm so sorry.
no, that's okay. I'll get it from Betsy. And we're glad to come and speak at an event or something like that.
I want y'all to meet. Don't leave. We're going to take a big picture, and if y'all want to stay, we'll squeeze in. I don't know if y'all need to be at work, but, you're working right now.
Right.
You told me that. You'll be fine.
I like finding out.
I want to
about
introduce
what
y'all.
they do, and then- or do you generally- 'cause yeah, I'm glad
Well-
y'all understand this. Most of my friends are like, okay, I love it. Yeah, I was starting at because I already work with because I get the plans and things like that come across my desk, and I would do that. It's just really there's so much.
She's round, kind of
So,
tight.
yeah, I would love to.
Let me introduce y'all real quick. Let me introduce y'all. John, I want you to meet Christy Height and Katie Alexander.
Hello, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is Katie, and this is Lisa.
Creating awareness.
Lisa McKenzie.
The first project I did is I at the hospital, and we're doing studies. And I with her without getting to see what the tax benefits are too. I would love doing that. Anything I can do to build my city, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I would love that.
Will you take a picture of us?
Yeah. It's at 1 o'clock our time. Yeah. I know it's very last minute, and it'll be recorded that whoever needs city credits can get on. I'm still learning the lingo, but there's 2 different kinds of
Okay, we're gonna have to jump in.
that you can earn.
Okay, we're coming back right now. Y'all want to just stay?
I think
Let's take a picture real quick, or stay long enough to take a picture, and I'll introduce everybody. Because the camera's still on, the sound's still on. So, yep, but we got to wait for Christy to come back. So you want to? How many minutes of this segment? Okay. All right. So I need Katie to jump in right here. Hop in. Okay, Christy, we're starting right now.
We are like it's this
Like right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take a picture first. And then we'll
Can you get in there? Yeah. Oh, okay. Push. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Do y'all want to stay?
Sure.
Okay, we'll stay. We'll just squeeze in.
How fun.
So I'll tell you what. How about if Christy uses your microphone right there?
Just scoot over there.
This is the women's takeover.
Good to see you. Hi. Great to see you. Hi, Christy.
Go ahead and sit right here, Katie.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
And you're back with Talk. Okay. You can do the Nelly ride with me next. I sent him music. And good morning, darling. You're back with Talk 107.3 FM. I'm Betsy Barnes here with the Women to Watch Takeover, the leading ladies in a lot of different areas. I'm here with Lisa McKenzie with Unite Empowering Events, helping women who are surviving and thriving after cancer. I'm also here with Katie Alexander with LeCag, co-founder of Louisiana Citizens Advocacy Group. It's a lot. It's a mouthful. Christy Hike with Louisiana Republican Assembly. We're going to be talking about some of the things that happened at the legislature. Jean Trum just took a little bit of an exit, but she's not going anywhere far because we might have questions for Jean. She's with CSSI Services. She's a tax consultant, helps people save a little money on their buildings. Amanda Meir, she is with LSU. She is also the chairperson who did a phenomenal job with the AIA Baton Rouge Rose Design Awards. This is for excellence in design for architecture. And also Tia Willis, the current president of AIA Baton Rouge. So these are your ladies that are leading that you may not have met, but I'm so glad I got to introduce you. So you need to seek these women out, their organizations, see what they're doing. And if you hear something that you're interested in, jump in, get on their social media, find out a little bit more about the organization, see if it's something that you want to support, because I highly recommend supporting these organizations. I do, and I think you should too. So thank y'all so much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. So we want to find out a little bit about LeCag, okay? And we want to find out a little bit about Louisiana Republican Assembly. One of the things that happened this legislative session, as you've done for the last 5 years, is you went to represent citizens on issues that affect individuals. So God bless your sweethearts for wanting to go and do that, because that is really a mountain of effort. I mean, it really is. Just to find a place to park at the Capitol is enough to deter anybody from wanting to go down there, okay? It is. But y'all have been following legislation. You've been following some of the things that make a difference in the way our money is spent, the way our money is saved, and some of the legislation that makes a tremendous difference in the way we go forward as citizens. So thank you for what you do with that. So which one of you would like to jump in first?
I guess I'll start.
Katie? Okay.
I guess I'll start.
So tell us a little bit about what LCAG is, what you do, and some of the legislation that you were championing and against this year, kind of an overview of what you've done this year
Sure.
in this last session.
Okay. Well, I'd first like to say that Christy and I started just as individuals. We went down there. We were both motivated by the 2020 election, and we were
Selection.
we were told that if we wanted to affect the election, we had to change the laws. So that's how we ended up at the Capitol. And we started, and there was a bunch of people. I've always been very impressed with Louisiana. People do show up for the things that are important, that matter. They are there.
A lot of women show up.
100%. I feel like it's the mama bears coming out.
That's right.
And they showed up in force. But what happened was we were ignored as individuals. And I mean, blatantly ignored, and in a very offensive way. After 2 years of that, my husband, who we pulled into it, because I said, "You're not going to believe what's going on down
Chris
here."
Alexander, your husband, a constitutional attorney?
Yes,
among other things.
Yes, but
Yeah.
but I would come home. We would go to the Capitol, and we would see what was going on. I said, "You're not going to believe what's going on."
Was he
down
saying
here.
it's not so bad? Why are y'all overreacting? Did he say that
No,
initially, and you
no,
dragged
he-
him in, kicking and screaming?
No, he was actually. It was really it was really funny. No, he's always been very politically active, fundraising, and I've hilariously complained bitterly our entire marriage. I'm not doing another fundraiser. But anyway, after the 2020 election, I was like, oh my gosh, we really got to wake up. So we ended up down there, and I said, he helped elect a lot of the people that were there, and I said, you're not going to believe what's happening. You got to come down and see, or you got to come down and talk. You got to whatever, because we were basically essentially being ignored. So that is how the organization. But once we organized, we got people's attention. That was the name of the game. And Christy and I have worked as a team the whole time.
Your organizations are different, but you work in concert
Yeah.
together because some of the issues are the same.
Yes, and
right,
well,
Betsy.
you can chime in at any point. Christy. You
So,
go.
so we really do work in tandem, even though our organizations separately do different things. We are basically a unit that, without one, the other couldn't function as well. I think, my opinion. So,
It's
Louisiana
absolutely
Republican
true.
Assembly is a national organization. Well, it's chartered underneath a national organization, the National Federation of Republican Assemblies, and that organization has been around for a very long time, since the 30s. And I believe that they were dusted off and started again in earnest because of the situation that our country found ourselves in. There's a need for, well, first of all, who are we? And I guess we don't have too much time to get into that, but
We have
basically,
2 minutes.
okay.
We're going to
The
come back after the break.
Louisiana Republican Assembly is the conservative arm of the Republican Party, the Ronald Reagan arm of the Republican Party, and we stand by the Constitution. We put God first, and we have 13 core principles that I think anyone listening to this show probably would agree with. And you can find those at lrassembly.com. And we are the grassroots, boots on the ground Republican Party.
And what we do is we're at the Capitol. We're lobbying for the people, and we're representing the people because they really don't have a voice. All of the special interests with big money are there. They're in the politicians' ears, and they really don't hear from any groups that are representing the people,
There's
everyday people.
Well, growing up, the news media would alert you to what's going on at the Capitol. And now we don't really have investigative reporters in the
No.
same degree. They're not looking at all the bills. They're not looking at expenditures. I mean, I think I've been in and out of the Capitol and departments related to state government since I was 19 years old and a journalism student at LSU. And actually, just looking at budgets and things like that, no one's doing that. And the special interests help the legislators write the bills. Of course, it benefits them or their group or a consortium of groups. And so you have these cohorts that are working together, but the people aren't informed in advance of when the bills are coming up.
By design.
By
Well-
design. It's very difficult.
But I do think there needs to be a better way that that's communicated to
Absolutely.
people overall,
Absolutely,
especially
Betsy.
those things that are underreported. So we're going to be right back with Christy Hike with Louisiana Republican Assembly. She's an elected Republican State Central Committee member and a member of the East Baton Rouge Parish Republican Executive Committee. And Katie Alexander with LeCag. And we're going to be right back with the women's takeover of Talk 107.3 FM mornings, not today, with Brian Haldane.
You know what I would love to know, and I don't want this to be a big question,
Yeah.
but I would love to know, like, what's a day look like for you? Like, people who don't hang out at the Capitol, and like you walk
It's a lot of
in
research.
as a citizen, like, what?
It's pandemonium.
Well, the first thing is, I'll just start because the first thing is, and Katie agrees, the minute we walk in the door, she, and people who are faith-filled have all attested to the fact that you walk in and I feel oppressed. I feel
Heaviness.
a real palpable, what? No, thank you. Palpable oppression of just evil. And I think that the building needs an exorcism. I really do, because it goes back to, look at our political history. I mean, Huey Long, go back. And we've been the laughingstock politically of the United States for a long time, at least our lifetimes, right? And because of the politics, the swamp. I mean, imagine Louisiana has a swamp that's political, right? That's just hard to fathom. No, it's not. And it's a situation where I don't like going into the building, but we have to go into the building.
So sorry to hear that because it just underwent a huge renovation and kind of preservation through
The building?
the building.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that they had an exorcism.
Yes.
I mean,
I know that's a very
Like touring it from an architectural standpoint.
oh, it's amazing.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
I'm not trying to detract from that. I'm extremely proud of the Capitol building.
Yes.
Absolutely, architecturally. I mean, I'm an artist. I'm an art major. That I walk in and I'm in awe. Oh, it's just awesome.
Well, I wanted to answer your question, Lisa, though, but so it's pandemonium. The atmosphere is pandemonium because we have a part-time legislature, so we have they start with 1,000 or more bills, and it is absolute chaos, and
Yeah.
you're shuffling
If you
around
want
different rooms.
Even though,
And a
I
lot
mean,
of times the
an
things that
incredible
we're
edifice,
interested in are going on
stunning.
simultaneously.
And the history is just beyond
By design.
compare. I mean, what
Because
that
it just
building
happens too many times.
has seen and contains. It's just amazing. So thank you for that's important to recognize and not
Yeah.
just to be negative. I was just when Lisa said, "How do you feel when you go in there? What does the day look like?" Well, to start, when I walk in, I feel
Well, so what we learned was that individually, nothing.
And so I don't
But
know
when we
what you
organized,
about
we
going
got
there.
people, we got
And
their
then you get-
attention,
then you're
and we have
also,
been able to do some really
they're
amazing
looking
things.
at you like you're nuts because the things you're saying, all the conspiracy theories that are now truth for so many people, and they called us crazy 5 years ago. They're like, oh, ignore those women.
It's
How
just
they
was
come
Yeah,
in.
Matt, you
number,
could say
power,
that,
and
but
numbers.
It's
in the
power
best way,
numbers.
man.
Yeah.
So we're about to come
You know
right back.
exactly.
I think it was
Of what
the
I see.
organization of people.
And so
you
we
know.
are on.
It's
we
so
are
nice to
on
meet you
TV.
both.
I mean, we are on Facebook Live.
Yep.
On the camera.
I'm
just
sorry
let
to
you know.
Okay.
And just so
But
anything you say
stand.
is also shared. So I just want to let you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
you want to do Ride With Me with Nelly? Play that for a minute? Okay.
Can you get by?
And welcome back to Talk 107.3 FM. We have the women's takeover of the Brian Haldane Morning Show. We are so thankful for our guest, Amanda Meir and Tia Willis with AIA Baton Rouge. We are thrilled that you could be with us this morning. We've had since 6 a.m. Lisa McKenzie, and we are about to talk with Katie Alexander with LeCag and also with Christy Hike. And Megan Ryburn just walked in the studio. So before y'all leave, we got to get a picture of all of us. So what do 6 blondes and 2 brunettes have in common? the takeover of the Brian Haldane Morning Show on Talk 107.3 FM. We have our fabulous producer, John LaBeouf. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem at all. This has been fun.
Dad of 3
Been good.
daughters. You're
Yes.
hanging with us.
Always, I'm always outnumbered anyway.
You're
right?
very comfortable.
Always.
You're very comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In my element for sure.
That's right. Well, we've been talking about some of the legislation and some of the things that have happened at the legislature this session. So Christy Hike with Louisiana Republican Assembly and Katie Alexander have been down there in the trenches. They've done all the research on the bills. They've looked to see who's behind this bill and why are they behind this bill. How does that benefit them? So talk a little bit about some of the things that the two of you saw that you said this is not right, or this is going to infringe upon the rights of the individual or the voter. This is not what the voter wanted or votes for, because they're not even aware of what it is.
I wrote 3 big things that happened this session. One of the things that Dr. Rep Boyer brought was
I met him the other day.
Yeah, it was a pretty innocuous bill that he brought, but this is what they're famous for. In the last hours of session, they tried to add an amendment that would essentially give Bill Cassidy the leg up on the primary coming up. And they said that they were going to not have a runoff of the Republican primary, kind of messing up the closed primary system, which is why we have the politics we have here in the state. It's that if we had true closed primary, we would get the true conservative.
Because we went from a jungle primary to the closed
Yes,
primary,
and
and we were one of only 19 states that did that.
Yeah,
You could vote for anybody, no matter what.
And it really, really does, in my opinion, is the reason the legislature doesn't necessarily reflect the will of the people, because they are electing people that are really not Republicans. There's a lot of rhinos. And so this was added at the last second and tried to kind of go under the radar. We found out, and there was a collective meltdown by the groups, and we stopped it. But that would have he would have been able to win that.
But it wouldn't just be Bill Cassidy; it'd be anybody in the future also.
Oh,
so
100%,
whether
yeah.
people are for or against our senior sitting senator, U.S. senator, this sets a precedent. And so whenever you're looking at legislation, it's not just this session. It's in perpetuity.
Right.
It's very hard to get something unlegislated.
100%.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things we did. There was also an effort to. There was a bill. It was a very confusing bill brought by a nice conservative guy, but it was just kind of ambiguous in what it was done. But we were called by Paul Hurd, who is one of the leading redistricting attorneys probably in the country, and he said this is all to get Cleo Fields. They're going to that gerrymandered district is probably going to be deemed unconstitutional when it's
After that legislation would
after it's appealed and all that, he'll lose his district. It'll go back to what it's supposed to be, but this would have enabled him to keep that district, and we were able to stop that too.
Wow.
So
okay.
yeah, and then let's see. Oh, the other big thing was that in 2020, when nobody even knew what carbon capture sequestration was, they voted that it was deemed a necessary and eminent domain would apply, and it essentially was allowing private companies to come in and take your property,
my home property, my personal
your property,
my investment property, my shopping center,
your property, and run these pipelines underneath. Well, it's not that's a debatable. You can debate all day long about climate change and all the rest, but the bottom line was that they were allowing private companies to come in and take your property and
put carbon capture in the ground in your property, not knowing exactly what would happen with that.
100%.
So that could devalue your property. It could affect your mineral rights. It affects your rights of the property as a property owner. And if you've paid for it and paid taxes for it every year, why would you allow somebody to do that for free?
Well, it was absolutely the most outrageous. I cannot believe that it passed. I cannot believe. But I think it all passed because it's federal money they're all getting paid off in
So
some
now
way.
anybody can come and
No,
basically.
we stopped it.
Okay,
we
good.
we had an amendment that was put on. I mean, this was probably the biggest battle of the session. They had the public showed up again, but and the testimonies you hear are just so it's powerful,
Yeah.
and they are ignored. But what we got done was we had an amendment done on, and we have essentially gotten rid of the eminent domain part.
That's fantastic.
So you can run the carbon capture under your property if you want, but you have
own
a
the
choice.
property,
You
and
have a
then you should
choice.
be paid or compensated in some way for doing that. So, how do the two of you work together at the Capitol? And this is all voluntary. You're not paid to do this. This is all
Absolutely.
voluntary. And the organizations that you can have members that join, you can have support, and you do have support from different businesses and different business owners who agree with the legislation. So, how are the legislation that you are aware of, share, and protect people from sometimes? So tell me how y'all have worked together on that and what LRA is doing.
Well, as I said, LRA is the Republican Party. We're just another organization, just like the LAGOP, but we're the conservative arm of the Republican Party, the way it used to look. And so, really, if you join LRA, you're just joining the Republican Party the way it's supposed to look, right? We're boots on the ground, as I said before. We're grassroots. So our membership is not scared of doing the work, right? And again, like you said, no one's getting paid for this. We're all in this organization because we love our country. We want to protect our freedoms. My quick story, I lived in Germany for 25 years, and I was also an international flight attendant. So I've seen the world, I've seen America from a different perspective, a different vantage point than most people who have lived here their whole lives, never really been anywhere. To see that the freedoms that were so hard won, that we enjoy, absolutely were paid with a high cost.
Yeah, they don't exist in other
June
countries.
6th was the 80, I can't remember, 81st D-Day
Yeah.
anniversary. Those troops who stormed that beach in Normandy on that day saved our world, essentially, for at least another generation from tyranny, right? And so where are we today? The
We're
tyranny has come
yes.
to our shores,
Yeah.
to our American shores. So why is it so essential that our groups exist? Because of that reason, because we have got to fight every day. Do we think that because, if we're conservative, that because Donald Trump won, that the bad guys are just going to roll over and not continue their work? No, they're going to
They just
double
change
down.
tactics.
Well, we're just getting
I
started.
mean, our
That is-
nation's enemies, I think, are already on our shores. They know everything about us because of TikTok.
They're
and every
within our
other thing.
ranks. They're within our ranks,
Yeah,
Betsy.
yeah.
They've
So-
infiltrated us.
Yeah.
And
So,
so we
it's
have-
protecting our children and
Yes,
grandchildren. I remember my grandparents
future.
talking about future generations. They
That's
didn't
right.
do what they did in the military or under different types of federal programs or state programs that they worked for, or they were doctors. A lot of them were doctors, educators. They didn't do that for themselves. They did that for me.
That's
They
right.
did that. These were my great grandparents
100%.
for me. So what are we doing for our great grandchildren to come and future generations? Are we
That's
protecting
Absolutely
the
it.
sovereignty of our constitutional rights? And are we teaching them what those biblical principles are that were based on, that the Constitution was based on?
Well, they're not teaching that in school anymore,
Yeah.
Betsy, as we
They're
know,
not allowed to.
right? And
Yeah.
because our sacred institutions, all of them have been infiltrated by Marxists. Our government, our schools, our military, our families, our churches. And we're slowly taking all of that back with the efforts of grassroots organizations like ours across the United
Yeah.
States. The people like us, right, are standing up, and we're saying we have to do it. Our founding fathers knew that this could potentially happen going forward because they fled a tyrannical monarchy, right?
Well, ignorance of the past,
That's
ignorance
right.
of, I mean,
Not
I
knowing
have
history.
and have given out constitutions, little constitutions for people to read. They actually need to understand what their rights are. They can choose not to exercise those rights, but they have those rights if they're protecting. If somebody wanted to join LCAG, what would they do if they wanted to follow or join LCAG?
Yes, well, I would encourage everybody to do it because if everybody contributes a little, we can achieve a lot. And it's lacag.org.
Mm-hmm.
You can go there and sign up to become a member. We would love just a little donation. We want a little bit from everybody so that we really, truly represent the people and
Yeah.
not any special interest group. We can't be, bossed around by any special interest group.
So
So, and what about for LRA?
Well, so we have 4 chapters thus far. We have Acadiana, we have New Orleans, NOLA, we have North Shore, and we have Capital Region. So if you go to lrassembly.com, lrassembly.com, you can find out more about each chapter and how to join.
Yeah.
And working in tandem, we can achieve great things in the state. We can take back the state.
So you actually do have corporate sponsorships that people could do if they want to
If
contribute
they wanted to do that,
to their business. They
absolutely.
can contribute as an
Absolutely.
individual, things like that to help keep this mission going. And this is not paid to you.
No.
This is to promote the beliefs that you have.
That's right. Absolutely.
And voter
We've
integrity
lost
being
money doing these things.
Yeah, I'm
right?
sure.
I mean, really, we've put in our own money, and because we believe so much in the cause.
Yes. And whenever you're a nonprofit, Lisa, with Unite, you end up going, well, it's only a little bit more. I'll just put in a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more.
Because you believe.
That's right. Well, we're with Talk 107.3 FM, the Women's You Need to Watch takeover of the Brian Haldane Morning Show. We're going to be right back in just a moment. We're going to be talking with Megan Ryburn with Louisiana Travel Association. She's going to talk about the wins and losses at the legislature. You want to stay tuned in. I'm Betsy Barnes. Thanks for listening, and we'll be right back.
Yay!
You know what I wanted to say though. The most important thing is
Look, let's get a picture with all of us.
Okay, are we finished though? We're finished.
Only if you want to be. You
Well,
can
I
still
didn't know what
stay.
your
You can still stay, and we can talk with Megan. You're welcome to stay. Everybody's welcome to stay. It's kind of hard to, we only got a semicircle of a table.
Yeah. Well, we can sneak that in.
Yeah.
Can we take a quick picture?
Should we? Where should we be, Betsy? Over here.
right where you are.
Yeah. I'm gonna scoot.
But you can stay seated.
Stay seated.
Yeah. Stay comfortable. I got this chair kind of.
We got to get Megan in the picture. Okay, we might have to squeeze in.
The two
I don't want to block
here,
anybody.
over here.
Who said men can't multitask?
You seem pretty good.
Thank you.
Well, he's
Thank
got
you.
3 girls.
Thank you so much.
I've got to do that.
I hope we got everything.
I'm
It's good to see you.
I'm gonna listen
We
from
take
over
out.
there.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yes. I think we should take over the studio like once a month.
Where is Brian?
So
Okay.
well, I wanted to say.
Well, there's so much indoors that you guys should have said this.
Well, no,
That's
but I
okay.
wanted the things just that it's really about holding people accountable. And that's what we have been missing. And I think that's the most important thing.
Tell Betsy you need to say that.
Yeah.
Look, you know what I've got? I've got a card.
That's not what's happening. And that's why LRA is.
Well, because we're not allowing rhinos to be a part of it. We're not allowing them. The LAGOP allows the rhinos and promotes the rhinos.
Right. Well, they're not holding anybody.
No, that's the point.
They're not. I mean,
Like AI said, the belly of the beast.
if you could, you know how I feel about that.
You ready?
I've pretty much enjoyed.
Wait, she needs to sit here.
I did.
Well,
She needs a mic. She needs a mic.
just scooch over one. We all share that mic if you need it, and we'll share this one.
have just one question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to ask you one question. I'll follow up to, okay, so on the break when you're talking about the oppression you feel, but I would love to hear about a win.
About what?
Like a win, like how do you know God's in the detail?
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask you guys that question?
Yeah, let's think of the answer first.
Okay.
That's a hard answer. That's a win because we feel the oppression, but what is a positive God thing? That God is working, God is there.
I would think. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would think.
Anytime we have a win, if you feel like, oh, thank you, Lord, we're so grateful.
Yeah, but you know what? It's that there's enough people that the momentum is growing. Why don't you say something about momentum growing? Because it is. That people want to be represented and they want to support what you're doing.
Once they go, they're still oppressed. They go there in large numbers, and they're, absolutely true. And the interesting thing that unites all of our grassroots
Thank you so
organizations
much.
is how
This is great.
I know the answer. I
Did,
know,
did
I
everyone
mean,
come to
I
the
know
studio
that
this morning?
there
Nice.
have been so
That's
many
fun. That's fun. It's my first time actually.
Yes.
where
Like in the
we
studio,
have been
so.
at the right place,
Place
at
at the right
time,
time.
at
glad.
the right
I started here in
person.
2013.
And
That
Christy
you-
and I are
it's
just
gotta
like,
be God.
"What? It's got to be
That's
God.
right. Okay.
It's
That's
gotta
right.
be
When we
God."
start radio
And
And that's why we go forward
Okay.
because we
Most
know
of the
that
people-
Okay.
he's
I didn't realize it
helping-
was
I'm
guaranteed.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, most people down there
With
are
Brian and Kevin
just like
Gallagher.
us.
Yes.
And we do have that.
That's
share
what
that
unites
common-
us.
That's what unites us, really. You know.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.
Well, that's where LaCag comes in. That's just the differentiation I wanted to make was that people are so busy and we don't have time to be down there like we have been. But you can be as involved as you want to be. LaCag helps it easy. Like if you have 30 seconds, you can help. If you have
Maybe a
hours,
podcast.
you can help. If you want to do more and shape policy and select future
because we're going to write
politicians,
legislation and endorse candidates and train candidates.
So what
all
music
right.
do you want to do?
Oh, I'm up for whatever.
What would be good, you think?
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, what's that? Let's see. You want me to do that one?
Sure, that's easy. Easy to cue.
Bye, y'all. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Yeah.
They get to plan everything for LSU for all the
That's so
projects.
cool.
Phenomenal. So I'm going to run through real quick who's been here and then who's here now.
Okay.
And then we'll jump in. And then I'll introduce you.
Okay.
And then Lisa has a question for them.
Okay.
And then we'll chit chat. And then we'll go to the break. Then we'll chit chat some more.
Awesome.
And then Lisa may have a question for you.
Okay.
We're not going to bring up global wildlife.
Yeah.
We're only giving current.
Oh, we're not going back memory lane?
No. No, we're going to all plan a trip together.
Maybe off the mic.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
you know.
That's at a bar with a
I think we should
Yes.
take a girls trip.
Oh my gosh,
So
yes,
when you
it'd be
say-
so much fun.
Yeah, I think we should.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So a friend of mine offered his condo
Okay.
for a few days.
Okay.
He's not going to be there. We would be there. But
Well, we need to take him up on that.
we need to take him up on that at Perdido.
And so
No, not Perdido. At
I mean, look.
Portofino.
What
Oh,
this
nice.
is from
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a vacation, especially after the session.
Yes.
So.
Portofino.
Yeah, I think you make that.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
How long?
I'm gonna let you talk
Okay.
too, if you don't mind. If you could make all those points that I just said.
Sure.
Good morning. Good morning, darling. All the darlings out there in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, surrounding areas, all of the places that you can hear our voice. This is the takeover of Women You Need to Watch on the Brian Haldane Morning Show. So I'm Betsy Barnes, and I'm so happy to be here with my co-host this morning, Lisa McKenzie with Unite Empowerment Events. That is an incredibly wonderful program that helps women who are surviving and thriving through cancer. We've been talking about that, and thank you for coming this morning. I really do appreciate that. We have been so fortunate this morning to have Lisa, and she's talked about her SCART program and the other programs through Unite and the podcast, Still I Rise. I want to say Still I Rise. And then we've also had, for the last hour, Tia Willis, who's the president of Baton Rouge AIA, and Amanda Meir, who is an executive board member but was also the chairperson for the AIA Rose Awards. And we talked about some of those winners and those architectural firms that are just extraordinary, phenomenal. Jean Trum is still here with us. Jean is with CSI. She's a tax consultant to real estate and business owners. If you own property, you need to talk to Jean Trum. And then we're also here still in the studio with Katie Alexander with LaCag, Louisiana Citizens Advocacy Group. It's a mouthful for me,
That's why we say LaCag.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. And also Christy Hike. She is the president of Louisiana Republican Assembly, elected state Central Committee person, as well as East Baton Rouge Parish executive person. And we've just been joined by Megan Ryburn. She's External Affairs Director for Louisiana Travel Association. So we have taken over the studio. So, if anybody has a problem with that, well, good morning, darling. so, so we are just excited that you're here. And so, Lisa, you had a question you wanted to ask Christy and Katie
Yeah.
with LeCag and with LRA.
So during one of the commercial breaks, we were talking, and we were just talking about, how it can feel like there's this evil spirit that is in government. We've all felt it. If you're a concerned citizen, you feel that. So I, as a concerned citizen, want to know, have you felt some wins where God's in the details, and somebody like me, what can we do to really make a difference with what you're doing? Because if we care about the Constitution and what our country used to stand for, and hopefully still does, what can somebody like me do to feel encouraged and actually have an action plan to help you guys do what you do?
Well, I think that I speak for Katie when I say that the thing that has united all of our grassroots conservative organizations, and don't make a mistake, there are many across the state that have been working in tandem. They focus on different issues maybe, but the main issue is protecting our freedoms, right? So to feel uplifted, to know that our efforts are not in vain, is to know that the thing that unites us all is our faith in God. Is our faith in God, first and foremost. And anytime that we talk to like-minded individuals, that comes to the fore. And we understand that God really is uniting us for his purposes. And so he's putting us on these individual paths that really work in unison, work in tandem. And so we do.
They collide.
And they collide.
They have collided in a very serendipitous, like, it can only be God that has united all of us.
We've each and all had situations where we think, my goodness, how did this even happen? How did this fall in our laps? Because here it is, and we didn't even look for it. And so that allowed us to move forward. And the wins that we have, it's because it's not our individual efforts. It's everyone working together in tandem. It's you, it's him, it's her, it's them. We're all working together for our freedoms. And you feel that. You feel the Holy Spirit, I'll say, because that's what I believe it is. So be prepared, be positive. To prepare, though, I would say, and that was part of your question, to join our groups, to join LeCag, to join LRA, because, again, we do work in tandem on different things, but we're united in Louisiana.
Yeah, remind us how to join and what would joining look like? Is there a requirement, or what can you do to help?
Yeah, no, well, you can join lacag.org, lacag.org is how you can join it. You could sign up for just the emails, but we plead everybody to join, at least to do the calls to action, because when we have people calling and emailing, it makes a difference. It makes a difference, and it's the organization of the groups that have really made the biggest difference, I feel. And you can have, if you have no time, we make it so easy. You can we give you all the information you need. It takes 30 seconds if you're not tech challenged. I say 3 minutes if you're a little slow on the technology. Not even that long. That's how quick you can do it. That's how quick you can take action and do the calls to action. We make it like you can do it as fast as possible. And then if you want to be more involved, then you join LRA and help.
Well, if you're a Republican, it's just a different Republican organization. We're just an organization exactly like the LAGOP, except we're the conservative wing of the Republican Party. So if you're tired of rhinos, if you're tired of all that, we're a deeply red state, and yet nothing conservative really happens much, right? Why is that? Because we have a bunch of rhinos. So we're trying to rid the party of rhinos. We're trying to bring it back to its conservative roots. And so we're that aspect of it, the actual political aspect. We will endorse candidates, which unlike other organizations, I won't mention some, but they don't endorse. They are not allowed by their bylaws to endorse. We will train candidates and we will recruit candidates, and we will write legislation. So if you want to be involved, lrassembly.com to learn more about us, to join lacag.org. So please join us because we need all of your voices.
So, and another important, thank you so much for sharing that and sharing your faith. Another important aspect is the industry of tourism, and Megan Ryburn is here, and we're going to talk about some of the wins and losses of the legislative session. Megan, tell us some of the good things that happened, or was there any good things that happened?
No, I think we had a lot of good things.
Okay, good. We
yes.
like the good news.
Hi, everyone. Good morning, everyone. So happy to be here. So happy to be in the studio with y'all. But yeah, this past session was had a lot going on. You know, it was really busy. But with that, I think Representative McMakin and Representative Chenevere were in the studio yesterday, and they said there was around 900, maybe 950 bills that went through the legislation this session, this current session. So with that, as an association for us and for our membership, we have to go through all of that and make sure.
And you're representing all the convention and visitors bureaus
Yes,
for
so
Louisiana Travel Association.
Louisiana Travel Association represents all the best destinations across the state, which are the convention and visitor bureaus throughout the state. It's also we also represent attractions, restaurants, travel and media publications,
Where we
advertising
spend
and
our
marketing
money and have a good
agencies.
time.
Yes,
Where we pass a
yes.
good time.
And it's all really to promote Louisiana as a destination. So that's our membership, and we're here to help them. So some of the wins, I would say, during this last session was House Bill 374 with McFarland, and that was about marketplace facilitators. And when I say marketplace facilitators, that actually means platforms like Airbnb, Expedia, VRBO. And so what we did as an association was really level the playing field for them, and to have them not only collect state sales tax, but also local occupancy taxes and remit those taxes.
Because they're a business.
Yes, it's a business, yeah. And so they weren't collecting all of the taxes that they should have been before, so we really made them accountable, and they were really great to work with. And this is a key piece of legislation that passed during this session and really helped out our lodging partners.
Yeah. So also there's been a moratorium like in New Orleans and others for the limiting the number of Airbnbs that you can have, because it chops into the 50,000 hotel rooms that they want to, be able to lease out. Was there another win that you thought was really spectacular, that was something that, of course, safety was a big issue with people going to festivals. They wanted to, make sure everybody was safe. Louisiana gets kind of a bad rap because, on the news media, they don't always cover all the positive, but there's 9 gazillion positive experiences for every 1 or 2 negative experiences, like something that's some form of violence.
I think another good win, we can go back to that one, but another good win was Senate Bill 43 with McMath. So that is a hotel occupancy tax increase by 1% for St. Tammany Parish. And that really just helps them to promote the destination, the visit the North Shore.
And that goes to the North Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau to be able to step up their marketing.
Absolutely.
I love the North Shore. Lisa lives on the North Shore.
I used to live on the North Shore.
One day I might live on the North Shore.
I love the North Shore.
I know that part of what you do is to help when there's national events to bring attention to Louisiana. Did you follow the English influencers, Josh and Jace, who just came to Louisiana and tried all the stuff? They were the crawfish and the barbecue ribs and the.
They were so proud.
They're so cute. I hope they're listening. And did you follow them?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I did.
I think that you guys need to work with them. I think they did the best things
You
for this.
might already be working with
Right,
them.
They did. Yeah.
right.
Do you work with them?
Well, actually, I think Visit Baton Rouge got in contact with them, and a lot of different CBBs across the state were able to get in contact with them and work with them as they were traveling through.
I really think that we all need to go travel to England and go try all their stuff. Of course, it won't taste as good as ours. Nothing against the English, but, we kind of spice it up. So when people travel somewhere and they go, the food wasn't very good. Well, you're comparing it to us. I mean, like there's not a chance. You can't even, so, yeah. So that's really cool that they did that. But Lisa's been watching that.
I think a lot of people did, and I learned so much about Louisiana. And they said when they left, besides the food, it was the people. I mean, there's nothing like Louisiana as far as when you come here. It is so authentic. It's so real. And so I love what you're doing, because it does just bring such attention to what is such a unique part of our country.
I think that every single person anywhere who's ever been anywhere loves somebody from Louisiana. They really wish they were us. Like, I love Louisiana. I really do. We're not perfect, but we're us.
I think we have the best sense of humor. I think we really do have terrific people.
Sure.
We really do.
Sure. We've got another minute. Is there anything else that you want to add about what LTA is doing? Because, we have the 250th birthday party, the biggest one ever in our nation. Although I have to say, I was pretty enthused by the 250th birthday of the U.S. Army, and I watched the fireworks and all of that. That was incredible. So, does Louisiana have something kind of planned for that coming up next year?
Well, I think major events also lead to major opportunities, and we have a lot of that coming across the nation in the next coming years. So, as you just said, we have America's 250th anniversary. We also have FIFA World Cup coming, so it's a great opportunity for Louisiana to position itself and to help promote and to welcome people that are coming into the country, not only internationally but domestically.
I'm a soccer mom, so I'd like to go to that.
Yes.
Yes. So, as far as Louisiana goes, we're positioned pretty well. We're returning back to pre-pandemic numbers, and everybody wants to come here. I mean, I think they want to come here. I know a few people that are maybe scared, but they don't like spicy food. And so that's a shame. So, what are some of the other things that you're doing with Louisiana Travel Association to promote Louisiana nationally through all this? We just had the Jefferson Parish 200th birthday, which I heard that was wonderful. I'm sorry I missed that.
Yeah. So, but going back to major events too, we talked about FIFA World Cup. We talked about America's 250th anniversary. We also have the men's and women's rugby World Cups coming. That'll be in 2031 and 2033, and then in 2028, the Summer Olympics will be held in LA. So,
Well, let's hope they get it together before that gets here.
right.
Yeah, I
So
think
a lot
they
of
need to do a little, cleanup,
Mhm.
maybe. They need to do some cleanup, some rebuilding. They need to work on their attitude. I just, that's just my personal opinion. It's okay if you don't agree. Or don't want to say if you agree. It's okay.
We all agree as we laugh.
We all agree as we laugh. That's right. So some of the things that are coming up now really have to do with going into the summer and fall festival season. So I love a good festival, especially a good jazz fest. I love festivals. I love live music. We all do. So with the festivals that are coming up, every single community benefits from those festivals individually. So supposedly, I think it's pretty accurate, we have 411 festivals. We have 50 in just New Orleans. So, but those festivals really do fund, and those CVBs support the funding of those local charities, the local philanthropics that don't get any other funding. It operates much like the church giving donations to certain groups or certain individual families. Those, Boys and Girls Club and a lot of others. What do you see for festivals going forward?
Well, I mean, I think that's what we're known for. We have more festivals than we love to celebrate anything and everything. We have more festivals than we do days of the year. It's what we're known for. So,
which is an important component to any good life.
Right. So we might see that one of those bills come up again. It was 529 with Brian. It was about adding a lot more restrictions to outdoor events and festivals in terms of permits. So it was our mission to really just try and go and educate all the lawmakers during the session about how that can really have an effect on a local level for all of the event organizers. But with
these
that
festivals
said,
are truly citizen owned, and they're just a community that comes together. They're not a fancy corporation. They don't all have the best technology. They just come together to pass a good time and to raise a little money for their community. So some are not very sophisticated in the way they promote themselves. That's where the CVBs come in. That's where the Office of Tourism also comes in. And so I'm just thankful that you are out there, working with the legislators to try and protect those communities so it isn't so difficult with so many restrictions and rules. You can have, regulations are just another tax. When you got to get another permit, that's just another tax. So I'm really appreciative of what you've done at the legislature this year.
oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So what do you like most about Louisiana? What's the one thing?
Oh gosh, that's a tough question. Everything, and I think kind of like leading back into what was said about the influencer that went completely viral. It's just really the people. We embrace everyone, and we just have a good.
Pass a good time.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
right. So I'm just wondering, kind of as LSU is getting ready to play in the next hour, hour and 6 minutes is going to be, the first pitch. What are your predictions? What are your predictions, Lisa? What do you predict? Because, I know you're from,
University of Alabama.
Yeah.
I know. But just for every
But
parent out there,
you went to Santa Barbara. Where'd
no,
you
I
go
was
to college?
I was San
USC.
Diego State, but
Yeah.
my kids went there because they got scholarships.
Yes.
I roll tide when when
a
you're a
great
parent.
school.
It's a great school and they got scholarships. But for LSU, I'm 100%. But I'm cheering them on.
Yes.
It would be so exciting for them to make it to the next round. Being from California against UCLA. Hey, listen, I left Los Angeles.
You've been here 25
I left
years.
them behind. Sorry, UCLA, but I just think it's LSU's time to shine.
And you look better in purple and gold anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict a score. I'm going to predict that it's going to be 12-10 at the end, and then we're going on to the next round. What do you predict?
I'm gonna go with you.
Yeah, yeah, 12
sounds
to
pretty
10.
good.
Now, I don't have any money on the game. I don't even know how to be. I guess you go on your phone app now and you bet. I don't know how to do that.
Sounds like a high scoring
Unless you have your own bookie.
Unless you have your own bookie. Okay, so for those of you that gamble, I guess, pick LSU. Because, look, if any other team brings a Mardi Gras tiger on a float, then maybe you have a chance to win, but you don't. So, and so we're going to be right back with Talk 107.3 FM. Is this it, John LaBeouf?
No. We went over, but yeah, I think we may have a little bit of time on the back end.
Okay, we'll be right back on Talk 107.3 FM, the Women's Takeover, the Brian Haldane Show.
Good job. Y'all are wonderful moderators.
I know. This is fun.
Is there anything that you wanted me to add or say?
No, I think that's. I think that's it. That's it.
I know it was kind of a
have-
short time, but I
So we
wanted you to
could
feel like
sit
you
here
could
and talk
share everything you wanted to say.
until
I think talking
next
about the major
week,
events
but
was good.
what
You
you
know,
just said
I
about
mean,
the scholarships
we
and
talked
all
about the most
that.
important ones.
We have an
So
opportunity to
yeah,
elect
we're
a new
Yeah.
to appoint a new president of LSU.
So what
I
are you
think
doing this
that
week? I've gotta be
it's
in New
been
Orleans
going in
Wednesday
the
or Thursday.
wrong
That's
direction,
this
100
afternoon.
miles an hour for the last, how
And
many
then-
years that Dr. Tate was there.
Something on Thursday. then.
Well, with the
No, but-
DEI, and he was
But
the
with
president
DEI,
of DEI.
He wrote the
And I want
book.
to drink with you.
Wrote the book. He
I bumped
He-
into
he-
Angela, but I
well,
haven't seen her in like
so-
months.
Really?
well, you
I
know,
saw
no,
her.
he did.
Right,
He did. I
she
mean,
was at Superior, but have you seen her?
But I think that if we
No,
could get a
You know,
strong,
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
conservative president with a backbone to stand up to the backlash that was going to happen, we could turn it around and become Alabama. There's no reason why we can't be Alabama.
I don't know. She seems to be doing her own thing.
Okay.
No
Wow.
fallout, no particular thing.
LSU did not offer him a
Haven't
scholarship.
talked
To be honest, I
Yeah.
haven't either. No,
And he
we
was
got
in
kind of close for a little while.
No, I'm telling you, that's why. Because of
Right.
DEI. Yep.
So I'm really
She's introduced me to a lot of good people too, just like you
Yeah.
introduced me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh. I've been so blessed.
yeah, she's gonna
Well,
bring up.
my kids have graduated
What
from
exactly?
high school.
October 17th.
Oh,
But
so
what
many
is
of their
you?
friends have gone to
United
Alabama
is the Women's Empowerment
because of
Movement.
exactly
Okay.
what you're saying. They got a scholarship. They make it so attractive. They whatever. Whereas my children, they had great grades. They got a discount off of tuition here. I mean, it's like
that makes them feel it's healing arts.
I think
And then
yeah.
they do a total makeover, then they do a runway show and a gala. The runway show is
well.
showing
Maybe,
off
maybe
how far
not
they've
about
come.
LSU, but about Louisiana in general, being competitive with Florida,
Well-
being competitive with the other states.
Well,
There's
the
no
reason-
reason why we can't.
Okay.
And the reason we're not is because of the generations of corruption. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
So
Which is what we're out
One of the things though that did not
I don't-
that was passed on the House with Emily Chenevere did an incredible job, and she was absolutely
on DEI
beat up,
Mm.
and they didn't even call it
to the Senate.
to the Senate. They didn't even call it up to.
Totally.
It was just to eliminate it from our institutions and our.
men don't need to compete in women's sports, and that was their flagship.
No,
Men do not need to. If they're going to modify their body, that's great, but go compete in men's sports. You don't need to be competing.
Well, every component of DEI, that's one of the main ones. That's
Yeah.
right. Study for her business management exam last semester. The entirety was DEI. You can't even understand what the question is because it's worded in such a way. It's like
Is a bunch of words thrown at you, or
words.
like
It's
word
like a
salad?
12
salad.
Yeah.
vocabulary structure
Mhm.
to sentences. My husband's a physician. He's a surgeon. I'm not stupid. My daughter's brilliant. We couldn't figure out what they were asking.
Mhm.
Hey, John. What time do we come back, or do we?
In the sorority.
in California.
Okay.
Florida, we can compete with any other state that people are exiting to.
Okay.
We just need to hold people accountable.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you. And you're back with Talk 107.3 FM, the Women's Takeover, Women You Need to Watch. So a little something we wanted to say is we want to make Louisiana great again. We're already great, right? That's right. So we need your help. And so we just want you to get involved with some of the organizations we've talked about today. Do y'all have anything you want to add?
There's no reason why Louisiana can't be number one in
That's
everything.
right.
Everything.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Hey, we'll see y'all after the next time that Brian is going to let us come in and take over. I'm going to find out when he's not here or if he shows up late at the studio, and we're just going to take over again. Maybe we'll let him join us. I don't know. Brian?
We can invite his mom, Anna.
That's
She
right.
is-
Let's
she
do
is-
it.
Great.
She
That's
is
great.
wonderful. I love Anna Haldane.
Oh, that'll be awesome. That's right. We're going to bring your mom, Brian. We're going to bring your mom next time. And she's going to tell Brian Haldane stories. And we are going to have so much fun doing that. Really, we love you, Brian, and we thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Guarantee
Thank
Media.
you so much. This has been
Glenn
fun.
Foster, Gordy Rush, thank you. And most of all, thank you, John LaBeouf, for making this a wonderful morning. We
problem.
appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you so much. Thank you. And thank y'all. Y'all have a great day. Go Tigers.